A steamy day here in LA as we get ready for one more regular season game. Who will win the National League Western Division? The Dodgers, the Rockies, got one more in you? Sure you do.
One more game. Some of the greatest moments in baseball history have played out right here on this stage, where all the drama of a 6-month season gets captured in one last 9-inning duel. Both teams are in the postseason, but the division crown is still up for grabs. Time to find out who takes it on Tiebreaker Monday.
And here we are in LA, Nolan Arenado and the Rockies. Colorado has never won a division title. Looking for a win here today. Manny Machado, free agent to be. He has played well for the Dodgers. LA trying to make it 6 straight division crowns. Thanks for joining us here today. Jon Sciambi with you. Fellas, I'm excited. David Ross, former Cy Young Award winner. Rick Sutcliffe. Lots to get to. I guess we start with this. It is not an elimination game. The loser does not go home. But it's got a little bit of that feel to it. David Ross, I don't think either of these teams are interested in playing tomorrow.
No, it feels like an elimination game if you're down there in the dugouts for sure. A lot of stress in these type games, but we're seeing two of the best offenses in baseball in September in this game, and they've been getting key hits from other guys. It's not just your Nolan Arenados. It's your David Dahls. Charlie Blackmon's been stepping up. Your Turner is always on fire and the key to this offense, but it's guys like Kike Hernandez who make this fun and exciting and really impact these teams.
Yeah, Dave Roberts told us Kike Hernandez is probably their team MVP. All right, we move to the mound, and again, not an elimination game, but we've got some power on the hill. I think the word stuff is probably going to come out of your mouth, Rick Sutcliffe.
No doubt about that. Two of the best young arms in the game of baseball today. And when we talked to manager Dave Roberts of the Dodgers, he talked about Walker Buehler being one of our aces. He talked about his ability. He bragged on his skill set, and he loved his toughness. Those are the three of the things that create a true ace. He said, don't be surprised if he doesn't start this afternoon at 98 miles an hour. And then on the other side, you've got German Marquez, 23 years of age, 14 wins on the season. He's only lost once in his last 9 starts, and that's right, in his last game, he started it out with 8 consecutive strikeouts, including hitting 100 miles an hour in his last inning. Boys, I'm telling you right now, things are getting ready to get heated.
Indeed. Keep your eye on the radar gun here this afternoon. National League Divisional Tiebreaker. Dodgers, Rockies coming up from LA, and we get ready to bring you the first pitch after this. Welcome back to LA. Dodgers and Rockies here today. The NL West tiebreaker. Jon Sciambi, David Ross, and Rick Sutcliffe. Flashback 2007. The NL tiebreaker was the Padres at the Rockies. Fly ball, Bryant Giles trying to score. Matt Holliday, did he touch the plate? Michael Barrett, they said safe. 9-8, Rockies beat the Padres. And Matt Holliday, a little face plant right there in Colorado, went on to the World Series. Matt Holliday told me a funny story. He said to Bud Black yesterday, hey, if you need a pinch runner late in the game to score from third in a game 163, I have some experience. And it kind of went over Bud Black's head. But then eventually Matt explained it to him, and then they got it. These two guys, good friends, Dave Roberts and Bud Black.
Well, you know why Bud Black didn't want to hear that. You know, he was managing the San Diego Padres when Matt Holliday, whether he touched home or not.
That's right. All right, let's check out our starting lineups. First for Bud Black and the Colorado Rockies. Second in the National League to the Dodgers in runs per game. Nolan Arenado, as good as it gets. David Daldo in the third spot ahead of him. Worth watching. A guy who in the month of September has hit 9 home runs. Blackwood, of course, atop the order, coming off that performance where he hit for the cycle. It's a very good lineup, and that lineup will be challenged today. Rick Sutcliffe going up against the 24-year-old from Lexington, Kentucky, Walker Buehler.
You know, you just think back to the early part of May, and Walker Buehler started a game in Mexico, Monterrey, and he was the first Dodger pitcher ever to start a combined no-hitter. We know that the Dodgers have had a lot of no-hitters in the past, and I'll be honest with you guys, I think he would be the National League Rookie of the Year if it weren't for a couple of outfielders in the National League East.
Yeah, he is pretty special, and he'll face a very potent lineup. Dave Roberts was blunt about Walker Buehler today. He said, we're hoping he'll get 21 outs for us here today. Their bullpen has been inconsistent on the year, but they need a good performance from this lanky flamethrower here this afternoon. As far as season series, well, the Dodgers have had the better of it. They've won 12 out of 19 is what that should say, actually, and the Dodgers outscoring the Rockies 98-69. The Rocks just 3-6 at Dodger Stadium. So again, the Dodgers 12-7 against Colorado as we get ready to go here today.
Like we said, a little redemption game here for the Rockies. They got swept last time coming here. Walker Buehler set a career high 12 strikeouts in that game that swept them here in Dodger Stadium last time they left. But they've been on a roll. This offense has really taken off since then. Talking to Buddy Black about that offense, bats have gotten much, much better since then.
So here we go. Fans still filing in. Obviously early start time, a little after 1 o'clock local. And here's Charlie Blackmon climbing it, hit for the cycle yesterday. And away we go in LA. Ball one to the center fielder, Chuck Nasty. Such a good player. And that one through there for a strike. Charlie Blackmon maintained after the game yesterday that until he was lifted in the 8th inning, he did not look at the scoreboard and look at the Dodgers score. Pushes that one foul.
You know, David, I don't care what players say. We all are a little bit superstitious. And if you're not looking at it and things are going well for you, you're going to continue not to look.
I can't believe that. I heard that, and it's like, I don't know how. I would have been looking at a catch. I don't know how to call the game. I would have been looking at that scoreboard the whole time.
Little bouncer. Kike Hernandez charges and handles it, and one up and one down.
Boog, I thought that was real interesting what you said earlier about the comment Dave Roberts made about Kike Hernandez.
Yeah, he said he is the MVP of our team and talked about how good he is defensively all over the place, and obviously a little guy with power. But he's given into the idea that he doesn't necessarily have to start to impact the game.
Well, that's what's so important, the mental part of it's not a letdown if you're not starting. You're going to get in this game and you're going to impact this game. You're just not the guy that we want to start today.
Yeah, it's Dave Roberts trying to communicate, and it's hard. I mean,
yeah.
You guys played, but it's trying to communicate. It's not you can't do it. It's this guy is in an even better position to execute it. Buehler back to work. Walker Buehler facing DJ LeMahieu. He's got a batting title to his credit. And as well, a couple of Gold Gloves, a couple of All-Star appearances. Just a nice player, really good on the defensive side. Free agent at the end of the year. And a 2-1.
You know, DJ's been banged up quite a bit this year. I think the number one reason why you don't see that average on the season well up over 300 where it's been the last several years.
One of the best guys in the league, always tough from a catching standpoint, really comfortable hitting the ball the other way and driving the ball to the right side of the field.
Here's a 2-2 now. In the air, that's pretty well struck out to left, but Peterson there shading his eyes and makes the catch.
You know, that's one thing, guys, as you know, that DJ's been doing a lot more of this year is turning on that baseball, particularly with a couple of strikes on him. 15 home runs on the season. I mean, he was a guy that the Chicago Cubs traded because he was just going to be a defensive guy.
So here's David Dahl now, a guy who settled in left field and hitting those righties. big swing and a miss. Dahl, 9 home runs in September. He has homered in 6 of his last 7, and they love the complete type player that he's turned into. There's 98.
Elevated.
A lot of Dahl's damage has been on the fastball. Guy ready to hit the heater. Walker Buehler showing him right out of the gate, I'm not afraid to throw anybody my fastball.
Well, they asked Justin Turner, are you as confident in this game as Walker Buehler is? And Justin Turner jokingly said, I don't think anybody's that confident, but we're really confident in him. On the ground, Kike Hernandez backhands, throws him out in a 1-2-3 first inning. Herman Marquez, a flamethrower in his own right, on his way out. Stadium, Jon Sciambi, David Ross, and Rick Sutcliffe. National League Division tiebreaker for the West as the Dodgers and Rockies go head-to-head. Let's check out the lineup. Dodgers led the league in runs per game. Peterson up top, but Turner has been red hot, leads the majors in batting average since August 7th, supplying power as well. Max Muncy so tough against the righties. Machado in back of him, and this lineup Sut will go up against Herman Marquez.
You know, Luke, the Rockies have always been able to hit, but the reason that they're going to the postseason for consecutive seasons for the first time in their franchise history is because of the fact they can now pitch. And I know that Marquez is not leading them as far as wins is concerned, but I think he's definitely well ahead as far as stuff is concerned.
Kyle Freeland looking on as we get ready to go here, bottom of the first, and there is a strike. Jack Peterson, one of those guys that'll ambush you. See the 8 leadoff homers, and he's homered against this guy.
You got guys that love fastballs, and you got guys on the mound that are proud of their heaters.
That's the fun matchup we like to see, right? Challenge your best versus my best.
By the way, congratulations to the Milwaukee Brewers. They're the National League Central Division champs, and so now it'll be the Cubs awaiting the winner of this one in the NL Wild Card game. That'll be tomorrow night in Chicago.
The loser of this one.
The loser of this one. Yeah, the loser, I beg your
pardon. The winner of this one goes on to play the Braves, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
There
so Rockies, Dodgers, loser will take on the Cubs. I'll get it right. As Peterson goes down on strikes.
I can't believe I knew something more than Boog.
Well, you don't work with him as much as I do.
I'm already worn out. 90 degrees at first pitch. This is my 3rd shirt. Just kidding. Jon Sciambi, David Ross, Rick Sutcliffe. This should be fun here today. Dodgers got the better of it in the regular season. They won 12 out of 19. Rockies have never won a division title. And here today, a premier pitching matchup. I mean, 2 guys with electric stuff.
Yeah, 2 of the best. And you're talking about, like you said, stuff. We're not talking about guys that want to locate. We're talking about 97, 98 miles an hour. And in Marquez's case, a phenomenal breaking pitch.
Herman Marquez goes curve and slider. Increased slider usage has gotten him a lot more strikeouts. In fact, he set the Rockies season record in strikeouts this year. Remember, Ubaldo Jimenez had it for such a long time, but this guy, especially in the second half, just sensational. And he's matched up with Tony Wolters. You know something about that, and you and John Lester got stuck together. Wolters has caught his last 10 starts.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier with Buddy Black and just talking about that relationship and how well Wolters can frame the pitches. I've loved watching this, how athletic he is behind the plate. Really reads that breaking ball well down in the zone, whether to stop that ball at the bottom of the zone or block it. Has a great feel and a great relationship with Marquez.
There's Turner now. And a great block back there. The Rockies bench coach is a former catcher himself, Mike Redmond, and he looked me in the eye. Red is such a great deadpan delivery, and he said, now, Boog, you know I'm athletic, but this guy behind the plate is really athletic. Now, Wolters a converted shortstop. The Indians converted him, Terry Francona.
When I talked to Buddy Black about the guy who used to be here with the Dodgers and the converted catcher that's now in Toronto, Russell Martin, and how much they're similar.
Ground ball to third, gobbled up Arenado.
And we just talked about the athletic movements back behind the plate and how athletic it is with whether it's blocking or throwing. They said you really got to take note of his throwing technique. Can throw just about from any position. He's got great feet and hands and really gets the ball out well, just like you would expect from a middle infielder converted to a catcher.
Steamy day here in LA. Hey, open up the gates. Let's go. Where is everybody?
School.
Well, none of us knew anything. What was it, yesterday around 4 or 5 o'clock? Nobody knew where we were going or whether there was going to be baseball at.
That's in there for a strike to Max Muncy.
Where did he come from, Boog? Max Muncy?
Yeah, drafted out of Baylor by the Oakland A's a couple of years and then was released at the end of March 2017.
Didn't see the big leagues last year.
It was amazing. And then the Dodgers signed him April 28th of last year. He was waiting at home, didn't have a job. And then spent the year at AAA, got to spring training, called up April this year. He's got 34 homers, and he didn't see the bigs last year. Amazing. Had a big swing and a miss. There's that breaking ball.
That's kind of amazing, too.
Oh, boy. 86 with that slider. Nolan Arenado will lead it off. No score, just getting started. Back here in LA, 24-year-old Walker Anthony Buehler on the mound. Photographic hit, man. Photogenic, I guess would be a better way to put it. Yeah, won the College World Series 2014 with Vandy, and then 2018 National League ranks ERA, strikeout to walk, second in lowest opponent's OPS. He does not lack for confidence. He admits, he said, I'm not the biggest guy. He said, yeah, maybe I have a little Napoleon complex to me, but, I mean, look at this season. National League ranked 276 in the ERA, and again, striking people out. He's got to deal with it. Tough hitter right here. It'll be Arenado, then Story, and then Gonzalez.
So what stands out to you when you watch him pitch?
His fastball. And I'll tell you what, talking with pitching coach Rick Honeycutt before the game, he said, well, so what makes his fastball so special is there's three of them. There's a two-seam, there's a four-seam, and he's added a cut fastball.
Popped up, foul ground. Muncy dealing with the sun near the dugout and able to make the grab. Nice catch, Max Muncy. Arenado retired, one away. Hey, we take a look at StatCast AI. And it's powered by AWS. Highest average four-seam fastball velo in 2018 among National League starting pitchers. Syndergaard, Foltynewicz, and then Walker Buehler. DeGrom right on his heels. I mean, that's exclusive company.
Well, and I really, and Rossi, you know this as well as I do. I mean, it's the command of that fastball that's really the key. That big number, it'll get you in trouble a lot of times in this day and age because there's so many of them. But he's got the ability to go down so that he can get a way up. He's got the ability to go side to side. It's that command that separates him.
Broken bat roller, back to the mound. And Story retired. There's two away. Guys, here's the other thing. Remember that this group, led by President of Baseball Operations Andrew Friedman, Walker Buehler was their first pick. It was the first draft pick they had. And they had some idea that there was some damage in his elbow. They picked him in the first round anyway. Rules prohibited them from MRIing him before the draft. They had an idea. He signed July 17, 2015. He didn't debut until late August of 16, coming back from Tommy John surgery. So they knew that he probably was going to have some type of a surgery. I asked Andrew Friedman, I said, so you figured he's just that good and you didn't care? And he said, Yep.
Right. Well, that speaks to how far we've come medically, too, that you're willing to draft a guy knowing he's going to get Tommy John and come back and still be this type of guy that he's turned out to be.
Well, it also helps, guys, when you're the president of baseball operations in the city of Los Angeles, where the Tommy John surgery was first born.
No doubt.
Dr. Frank Jobe.
Dr. Jobe worked on me when I was here. I'm sure you too, Sut.
Oh, yeah. I could take you to that office right now.
Next offering in there. Bill Wilkie behind the plate today. Veteran umpire. It's regular season rules, but we go 6 umpires. I don't quite get that one. We're going 6 umpires, and let's go 25-man roster. If we're going 40, then 4 umpires. One or the other. 1-2.
I agree with what you said earlier. It's not an elimination game, but I mean, we don't need 40-man rosters right now.
Oh.
I mean, this game is more important than a regular season game. I just think the rules should be played that way.
Yesterday on the radio, I described the tiebreaker game. The roster size will be a bazillion. In the dirt and stopped by Yasmani Grandal. And the Dodgers, obviously, the team, with the money there, maxing out in terms of what they have in reserve as far as bullpen, bench, that type of thing. Two now. Got it. Buehler. 10 pitches. Walker Buehler, his first strikeout. He's gotten all 6 that he's faced. No score. A lot of heat here in L.A. Play Ball is MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. Oregon sounding great already. Yeah, there it is. 2007 NL Wildcard tiebreaker. Rockies won it over the Padres 9-8-13. Matt Holliday scored the winning run. The Padres team managed by Bud Black. And now he's got Matt Holliday on his team. Matt Holliday, by the way, who gets opportunities to play against lefties, and so Bud Black throws to him. Swinging a liner. Machado hits that one up the middle. Looked like he got it off the end of the bat. And I mentioned it earlier, but Matt Holliday, while Bud Black was throwing to him, sliders getting him loose, Matt Holliday said, hey, if you need some experience in a game 163, just a guy scoring from third in the late stages, I can do it. And Bud just kind of stared at him. And he's like, you mean you ready for tomorrow? He's like, no, it's 2007 with the Rockies.
Remember, you were there.
You were there. And then Bud got
Scored, we won, went to the World Series.
Here's Grandal now.
I didn't know that, but I could have told Bud that if he needed some experience in a game 163, that I'm right here.
You've been there.
But the experience I had, no, it wasn't that good.
1980.
1980, we got beat by the Houston Astros here in game 163.
Grandal. Oh, what a grab.
Goodness.
And he spills into the stands, heads up as Machado tags from first. Holy cow. David Dahl over the railing, makes the play. Let's see if he's okay. Just doing a little flexing and grimacing.
Look at fighting the sun, too, just in front of the wall. That low wall is always dangerous. Holds on, still getting the ball out of his glove with 1 foot up on the rail. Fighting that sun just into the knees right there on that short wall. Great catch, David Dahl. Wow, nice base running by Machado there to tag up, too. Good heads-up baseball.
Well, they bragged about him being a complete player, a guy who was a former first-round pick for them Debuted in 2016. It went well. He had a back injury last year, a stress reaction in his ribs during spring training. And so that's scary stuff right there. But
he's that guy that's always in their organization that they've known is going to hit. He's a guy came up. You really got to watch how this guy hits, his at-bats, and he just hasn't been able to stay healthy, as you alluded to. But you see here, he's hit his stride here in September.
A lot of tools.
Yeah, no doubt. And their team can defend. Bellinger over the top of that one.
You know, the numbers for Cody Bellinger down from the unanimous Rookie of the Year a year ago, and kind of exposed in the postseason with that breaking ball from a right-handed pitcher toward the back foot of the left-handed hitter.
Marquez ahead 0-2. Let's see what he goes with here. Hammered, knocked down at first. Desmond and Marquez out at first. And Cody Bellinger went tumbling down. And I think was saying safe. Brian Gorman, our crew chief today, on the call at first.
It is amazing to me how athletic Cody Bellinger is and how fast he gets down the line here. Out of the box as a lefty, sniffing a hit. Ooh, might be safe. That is a close one. He may have a case here. It looks like Dave Roberts is going to challenge this.
What do you guys got? Looks safe.
Looks safe to me. We concentrate so much on spring training, hitting the front of that bag. Look what a great job he does of hitting the front of this base here. If he hits the middle of that base or even the front side, he's out. It looks like he might be safe.
Yeah, I think they're going to overturn this call. Rick Sutcliffe, I want to get back to something that David Ross just mentioned. You watch Cody Bellinger play, whether it's center field, whether it's getting down the line. I find myself surprised at times the bursts of speed that he shows. You're not expecting it. He can run.
I think part of that, too, is the length of that stride. Remember Devon White?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Toronto, how
oh,
it
yeah.
didn't look like he was just in slow motion, but he always seemed to make those plays.
He came down for a rehab assignment when I was in minor league, and one of our guys hit a base hit up the middle. Devon White looked like he took 4 strides, and he was at third base. I mean, he could absolutely fly. And we did a game in Arizona. Out. We did a game in Arizona that he ran a ball down in center field. It was an amazing catch. I mean, a great glove at first base, can play a great center or outfield. This guy is as athletic and really plays the game hard.
I tell you the thing, guys, that comes in mind to me, yeah, the Rockies once again this year have been outstanding collectively as a defense, but you got to be a lot concerned with what goes on with Ian Desmond down there. He still seems to be struggling down there. He mishandled that ball, and it almost led to a first and third and only one out here early in the day.
It looks like Marquez's heel may have just got the front side of that bag. Maybe that's what they saw. Brian Gorman on top of it down there. That was close.
Well, we showed you league average and both these teams' ranks. So far in the booth, we are 0 for 1.
No. You two are 0 for 1.
I just said it was close. I said it looked safe.
Jon Sciambi and my 2 really good teammates.
I play it right down the middle.
David Ross. Holy cow. With you, winner tie, huh? Here's Yasiel Puig. OPS over 1,000 in September. Oh, these 2 guys are fun to watch. I mean, it is just, first of all, in the second half, German Marquez is striking out exactly a third of the guys he faces. 33.4% of the batters that he faces, he strikes out. It's obscene. Ball to strike to Puig. No score. Dodgers trying to get on the board. What's at stake? The NL Western Division title. That's what's at stake. This is the NL West tiebreaker, not an elimination game. The loser has the wild card game in Chicago against the Cubs tomorrow.
All right, David. Watch this block right here.
I'm going to stay in my lane.
Look at here. Watch, Wohlers gets out there late. Make sure he doesn't give away. Look how low to the ground he is. Just falls right in front. You know a good catcher when it falls straight down. Nice soft upper body.
That's been said about me. Got him swinging.
You know, because Walters blocked that ball as a pitcher, it makes you want to go right back there. I'm doing anything I can to change the subject.
German Marquez keeps Machado at third and keeps us scoreless. Back here in LA, a hot day, 90 degrees at first pitch. Days in first place. Yeah, the Arizona Diamondbacks this year, 125 days at first, followed by the Dodgers, 41, Rocks, 33, and the Giants with 3. Back to the Diamondbacks for a second. Arizona's team was in first place on the first day of every month. April, May, June, July, August, September. I know, Rossi, you know the months. I needed to do them for Sut, though.
I don't mind him saying that, but Rossi, you laughing's kind of wrong. Huh?
I just like you two going back at it. But first fastball really gotten away from Buehler here, trying to go in with that two-seamer. Got a lot of run up and in where he likes to take off when he gets underneath it a little bit. Just hits Desmond on the back forearm.
I'll tell you the concern for you now with it being Ian Desmond and nobody out. Ian Desmond, guys, when you look at the numbers, this year he got back to being that 20-20 guy. That combination of home runs and stolen bases, that exists in this situation right now.
33 years old. Ian Desmond, this, by the way, will be my favorite note of the day. You know that we're big in Canada. Ian Desmond is the last active major league player who was drafted by the Montreal Expos. So you got guys who were drafted by the Nationals, but Ian Desmond drafted 3rd round 2004 by the Expos. Last remaining player. I asked him, I was like, you got shorts or some T-shirts still? He said, yeah, I got a couple.
Oh, that's
things.
Cool.
Yeah.
So did he just say it's going to be his best
That's
note
my best
of the day?
note.
That's a pretty, I like that one, actually. That's
Thanks, Rossi.
one of those hidden little bluff there from Desmond.
All right, Rossi, manage for me now. I don't want him going here.
No,
I feel like you kind of forced a hitter on a borderline pitch to swing at it to protect him. But I'm starting to think about sending him maybe on a 2-1 pitch if that were to be the case.
I like leaving that right side hole open, especially with the left-handed batter. But you're right, you get in a situation, and two, I'm still old school where I like to get the pitcher's pitch count up as much as I possibly can. Wait till we get to 2-2 or 3-2, maybe put him in the mix, especially with the pitcher on deck.
Walters, who's got a little pop. There's a strike. Last 10 starts for German Marquez, and he's been matched up with him. Sut, did you ever have a guy that you were matched up with specifically?
Yeah, Ron Darling. Yeah. I mean, that wasn't any fun, but it was a little bit better than Dwight Gooden. All right, I'm going to let him run.
I mean a catcher. Did you ever have a catcher that you were matched up with?
You know, it started out here with Johnny Oates
okay.
As a rookie. Johnny was the best that I ever threw, the only one that I never shook off. But obviously, those years in Chicago and, you know, Harry Carey singing Jody Davis and all of that, yeah, the big redhead was a lot of fun. And, you know, one of those catchers that, you know, hit in the heart of the order, too, that could win a game with his glove, arm, or bat.
Yeah, I played in Atlanta, and as well as I didn't matter how well I did, Brian McCann was going to play. You know, there's some situations too, especially when you're a horse like Sut was. It doesn't really matter who's catching you. You're putting up some good numbers.
How did the Lester thing start with you?
He just had a good run in Boston. When I got over there, it was just kind of one of those giving Saltalamacchia a break, and I mix it in, and he's coming off a bad year and had some good numbers.
On the ground, Machado bobbles, regathers. They get one, and that's it. Wow. I think it rolled up his arm, and Manny Machado, moving to his right, was able to field it, and they get the lead out at second.
Well, we talk about soft hands as a middle infielder, and when you're on that backhand side, that's when the hands get the firmest. But he keeps his hands soft enough here where it just rolls up his arm. Great athletic play and wherewithal to stay with that ball. Pops up right into his bare hand, grabs it, and right off the elbow, gets the out at second. Kike Hernandez thought about turning it, but back too far. Not a great handle on the ball. Nice play by Machado.
Remember, they expected Corey Seager to be there, guys. So defensive run saved. He is not the all-time elite at short the way he was at third. I mean, at third, he was absolutely amazing. At short, he's been okay, and by those numbers, not great at times.
Speaking of not great, that attempt to bunt was not great. I might just let him swing it here.
Yeah, I didn't like the setup there. It's so hard now. You know, we talk about bunting and practicing bunting, and I know these guys got to do it. Got to get that barrel a little further out front. That's a nice job coming up and in. Just talking right through your highlight there, Boog. Sorry.
Well, I mean, there's nothing I like calling better than a sacked bunt.
If he didn't block it, it might have hit him in the face.
Yeah, I always had a little of that two-seam run we were talking about.
Same thing that caught Desmond. There it takes off at him right there. It's coming right back at him. That might have hit him in the right shoulder.
We talk so much about how bunting is, why don't they get them down? But guys are throwing the ball harder than they've ever thrown it before. And you turn around and get your face over that plate and the bat out there in front of you. It seems easier on TV, and I know, Sud, it seems easy to me up here. But now with how hard these guys throw and the movement they got on their balls, I feel like it's harder than it's ever been before.
Charlie Blackmon's got to spend some time in this at bat right now. Marquez just getting back to the bench. It's a hot day. I would have bet anything that he was going to at least take a strike. And I know you got a chance to drive in the go-ahead run, but he's got to give his starting pitcher a breather on a day like this. I mean, it's pretty well known all around baseball.
Walters out there at second.
Why do you want to play a game like this at home?
Yeah.
Now you know.
Not full, though, here this afternoon. Obviously, not the conducive to the largest crowd on a hot day. But Dodgers at home. Buehler ahead 0-2. Way upstairs. 99 with that one. This the NL West tiebreaker. Dodgers trying to make it 6 straight Western Division titles. The Rockies have never won a division title. All 4 times that they got in previously, it was through the wild card. And again, Buehler upstairs, that one at 98.
I think where that crowd can pump you up almost too much. The last 2 fastballs since they got on their feet. He's trying to go up like he did for strike 2, but the last 2 have just been way out of the zone. Not going to get any swings up there. A little bit of that adrenaline pumping. Get a little excited. These Dodger fans get on their feet for you.
Buehler ready, the 2-2. And 99. What do you see in there mechanically from Walker Buehler?
I'm just seeing him getting a little bit long with his stride. And that's the number one thing you do when you want to elevate a fastball. When you want to bring the ball back down to the zone, you don't shorten your stride, you just soften that landing foot a little bit.
All right, what do you got here? 3-2 base open, Sut. He went breaking ball for strike, and the rest been fastballs up.
He's got to prove he can hit my heater if I'm Walker Buehler.
Here we go. And went upstairs again and missed again. He got ahead 0-2 and then tried to get him to chase a fastball up, but none of them were really in a hitting area.
No, they weren't. And the one thing I think that the reason Grandal's going out there now is that, hey, man, we got to make a little adjustment here. You know, you kept getting long. You kept landing hard with that front foot. You know, I was okay on the first 2, but I thought you would have made an adjustment to come back and end the inning on one of those last 2 pitches. You see how he's kind of off balance right there? He really didn't come down on that ball of his foot where there's a comfort zone.
And I feel like more than anywhere else, we pitch at the zone more in today's game, but I feel like that would be the zone that you could lose really fast. We work on down in our bullpen. Now they're probably working up a little more, the breaking ball, but I feel like for me as a catcher, a lot of the times when you start getting to the top of the zone, these guys can lose that feel a little bit up there a little more because you're behind the baseball a little more, Sut.
Yep.
And you're not over top.
No, you're exactly right. And you know, the thing I think of is the people that I talk to talk about our K zone that we started out with maybe a decade ago. on how the umpires now use that, and they're rated on those pitches that catch the top of the zone. Umpires have to be calling those or they're going to be punished.
Well, Mayhew comes up empty, 98. He got that down in the strike zone. Jon Sciambi, David Ross, Rick Sutcliffe. Not an elimination game, but the NL West tiebreaker is the Dodgers and Rockies get together. And what was that there? A little slider?
I think it was a slider. I think a cutter is normally going to be around 90 to 90, maybe 4 miles an hour. I think he came around that a little bit. There's going to be that little circle there. It's going to have a little bit more movement to make sure it gets away from the barrel.
2 on, 2 out.
You know, it's funny, David, you asked me what would you throw if you're Walker Buehler. I mean, there's really not a bad pitch.
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm like, in my head, I couldn't pick one. I didn't know base open. We've thrown him off fastball since the first pitch. Maybe I throw him that backdoor slider we talked about earlier. You know, he's got so many options. The breaking ball for Chase with it open or go upstairs again. Who knows, man? It's fun to play that game for me.
Remember, last time he faced the Rockies, struck out a dozen. Little roller, Machado collects that, slings to first in time, and Buehler able to get out of it. We're midway here in inning number 3. There's no score from Dodger Stadium. Fans Pitch, Hit, and Run is Major League Baseball's free skills competition for boys and girls ages 7 through 14. Sign up now to host a free competition in your local community at pitchhitrun.com. That right there, the 1980 NL West tiebreaker. Astros over the Dodgers 7-1. Joe Niekro, the complete game, allowed a run, and the Astros went on to take on the Phillies in what was one of the all-time great LCS series. Rick Sutcliffe, you pitching that game?
I did pitch in that game. I came in the 4th inning. A couple of guys got on. Tommy had seen enough of my act. He went to the bullpen. The next thing you know, all of my guys touched home. Yeah, it was not a lot of fun that day, but I tell you what, I mean, one of the most fun weekends I was ever a part of. We're 4 back with 4 to go. And Tommy gave us a big speech before the first day. And, you know, guys put it together. The crowd just kept getting louder and louder and bigger and bigger. And after winning the game on Sunday, the excitement that was going on, you know, we come out here Monday expecting the same thing. And the Rockies put up 2 runs. I mean, right off the Astros put up 2 runs. And Joe Niekro, I think he won the Cy Young Award that year. I mean, he was just outstanding to begin with, but those 2 runs took the crowd out of it. I mean, that 10th man never really got into it, and offensively, we just never got anything going.
Sonny, I'm pretty sure my guy Steve Carlton won the Cy Young that year. I just remember 1980. Michael Jack Schmidt and the Phillies won it all. I was a happy 10-year-old.
I didn't say. I said the Cy Young.
Sorry. I think Steve Carlton won it in 19. We'll get my fact checker on that. Ivan Sokolsky. Niekro was 4th in the Cy Young that year. Steve Carlton won it.
I was 3.
I think I was.
Welcome to L.A., everybody. Part of our magic. Jon Sciambi, David Ross, Rick Sutcliffe. Don't worry, I'll mess something up. You know you'll be ready for me. Here's Buehler now. It'll be 9, or I should say 8, 9, and 1 with 1 out. Buehler takes that slider down low. Man, that thing is nasty at 86.
Well, not much offense from Walker Buehler this year, but it looks like he can hit a little bit. Those are nice takes.
He can hit. I know his numbers aren't great, but I've seen him have a couple at bats, some hard hit balls. The last game I did that he started actually against the Rockies here, I was able to be a part of that, and he had a couple balls really hard up the middle.
3-2 now. Wow. Walked the pitcher. So Buehler aboard. It was 0-2. Dave Roberts as his pitcher on base. George Lombard, first base coach over there. Herman Marquez, so good in the second half. You can really make the case that in the second half, after Jacob deGrom, this guy has pitched as well as anyone in the NL. I mentioned that K rate. His second half ERA was .255. I mean, that's pitching his home games at Coors Field, but the K rate 33.4% in the second half. No score. We're in the bottom of the third. And Peterson fouls one back our way.
You know, I really wouldn't argue with that, Boog. I mean, you go back to the 24th of June. Marquez lost a game. He was 5-8 with an ERA over 5.5. Well, look at what he's done his last 10 starts. The only time that he lost in his last 9 starts, Bumgarner shut him out. 14 wins on the year. He's 23 years of age.
He did actually say that having his first child right around that time was something that was a positive influence for him. And the guy behind the plate, Tony Walter, has been a positive influence.
Boy, that was nice. That little pickup block, picked up and got in his hand so fast. If Walker Buehler would have been too far off over there, he'd have picked him off first. Nice athletic move by Walters.
That was one of those throws that Bud Black was talking about where Walters can make it from anywhere, any angle.
No doubt.
Pop to the ear, shallow right. Gonzalez, Blackman, and Charlie Blackman will make the grab.
Look how athletic this is. It's one thing to block a ball, but for it to go in your glove and transfer it that fast into your throwing hand and be ready to throw, as Tony Walters does right here. Blocks it, feet exchange, right into the hand, all one movement, ready to throw. Really no throw there. He just lobbed it down there. Walker Buehler didn't get far off, but
I think Jock Peterson got in his way a little bit, and he said, I just don't want to throw it away.
Yeah.
You like to throw a lot.
I used to love to throw. It was the only part of my game that was any good. That's all I had to show off.
2 down man at first.
You know, I remember your first year, and I remember in spring training, you did a bunch of that during the game. And I remember Joe Madden talking to you and the other catchers about, you know, even if it doesn't work, he said, even Rossi, if you throw it away, it doesn't mean it wasn't the right play.
No doubt.
I mean, that frees you up, does it not?
It does. It just gives you a lot of confidence to throw the ball around. And we talk a lot about holding runners as pitchers. Catchers can do the same thing by holding runners, throwing the ball around. Those guys don't want to get as big secondaries, which, you know, back when you could take guys out at second base, it helped out your middle infielders, kept guys from going the extra base. The big secondary is an important thing as a base runner, but if you got a good catcher that likes to throw, it keeps you a lot tighter to the base.
Well, what I think of, if you shorten a guy up at second base and there's a rocket base hit to right field and Jason Hayward, I mean, he might throw him out at home plate with that extra step or two.
No doubt.
Turner spoils that one. Winner of this one moves on to take on the Braves in the division series. The loser plays the Cubs tomorrow.
The winner gets to take a couple of days off and play that first game 1 of the division series at home. So, all important.
No question. And we have the wild card game tomorrow night on ESPN and ESPN Radio.
It might be a wild game, too.
It could be wild. Wow. Marquez ahead of Turner, 1-2, 2 outs. And Buehler over there at first. And now Turner steps out. This is a Dodger team. They have some guys that can deliver some really impressive at-bats. He'd probably be at the front of the pack. That power combo with contact ability. And a little roller along third. Turner, he gives you the slug, but at 33 years old, he's developed in one of the better hitters in the NL.
You're right. I mean, he's made that adjustment with his swing, how he's open now, making that adjustment. Really been one of the better hitters since he's made that swing adjustment. But like Dave Roberts told us before the game, the key to Marquez is get him in the zone to take those tough pitches, those breaking balls down. Justin Turner, you saw right there, fouling off that tough breaking ball in the dirt to get another pitch. Make him repeat these pitches because, as history shows, Marquez has not done a phenomenal job of locating. He's got stuff in and out of the zone.
Turner 0 for 1. Dodgers trying to strike first. Got a piece. Mentioned
there's another one.
An adjustment that Turner made. Remember, he was hitting spring training on the hand. He didn't debut until May 15th. It was a series against the A's in BP. He's always been open. There it is on the left before August 7th. And you see he said he was having trouble getting his hands through, I guess. He got way more open after that.
Yeah, when you get totally turned out like that, your hands are freed up, and you feel like your hips and hands, you can see here in the video, he calls time, but you get those hands out there in front. When you go to stride, you close yourself off, but you feel like it's a lot easier to open up. If you start with that front shoulder close, those hands get behind you and feel stuck.
You know what I think of? I think of guarding against your weakness. And as I look at him with that open stance, if you're a hitter that flies open, what's the number one way to keep that from happening is to start open. If you start open, the first thing you have to do is close.
Wide open. 7th pitch of the at-bat. Buehler at first. Marquez at 2-2. Got him to swing and miss. Walters blocks it, picks it up, and finishes it off. German Marquez with 4 strikeouts on the afternoon. We head to the 4th. The Big Bopper's coming up. Dahl, Arenado, Story. No score in L.A.
Right.
Well, fans, tomorrow it's the NL Wildcard game at 8 Eastern on ESPN as well. A special second screen StatCast broadcast will air on ESPN2. It's presented by Hankook Tire. The NL Wildcard game on ESPN and on ESPN Radio. Every game of the postseason, by the way, available on ESPN Radio. All right, so here's the bracket. That's right, we got brackets like NCAA tournament time. The Brewers have advanced. They will be in the division series, and so they await the winner of this game. The loser will take on the Cubs tomorrow, and then the Braves and Rockies, where the Braves will take on the winner of this one. So there you go.
There's a nice little conversation going on with pitching coach Steve Foster and his young right-hander, German Marquez, and I'm sure it had a lot to do with that at-bat with Walker Buehler. I thought, David, you made a great point in between innings when we were talking about what might be going on. You know, he got to 0-2 on Buehler, and then all of a sudden 4 or 5 more pitches later, what'd you say, stand on the gas?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of pitchers that throw to other pitchers, and they want to just kind of cruise through the at-bat. You got to keep the pedal to the metal, so to speak, and throw your nasty stuff. Throw it in the zone. Make them beat you. Don't get away from what you do best and just make your pitches. Sometimes we overthink it. You've got pitchers up there.
You know, you're going to normally throw 6-7 pitches to Justin Turner. You don't need to be doing it to the opposing pitcher.
Right.
I love that.
2-0 to Dahl, and that misses upstairs. So the Brewers winning earlier today. Cubs await the loser of this one.
You said bracket, so if you win, you go to the Elite 8? Is that what it is?
I think, yeah, something like that. Final 4 in San Antonio. Dahl, a guy mentioned 9 homers in September, 16 overall, made that spectacular catch earlier in the game on a foul fly ball off the bat of Yasmani Grandal.
You know, a big number that I always looked at in the past and still continue to look at is hitting with runners in scoring position. Those 3-0, 1-0 guys, they don't bother you, but this is a guy that's not only hitting for average, but during the month of September, he's hitting with men on as well.
You know what I see, Boog, and Sut, when, like Dahl there, in hitters counts, all day really off Walker Buehler, you don't see good swings in hitters counts. A lot of late swings off his fastball must really be hidden. We know how electric it is and the movement we've seen, but hitters are not picking it up.
8th pitch of the at-bat. Rossi was ready. Here in our NL West tiebreaker, Jon Sciambi, David Ross, Rick Sutcliffe. And it'll be Dahl, then Arenado, and then Story. Scoreless, Buehler and Marquez. Good pitchers to us so far. You see Walters and Marquez having the chat in the dugout.
There's one thing I miss the most, is these kind of conversations. The in-game kind of coaching and planning, that stuff is a lot of fun. I didn't miss hitting, but I miss getting those guys locked in.
3-2. And he walked him.
Nice at bat.
Number 28, Nolan Arenado.
Well, Nolan Arenado making his way to the plate, so Buehler in the jackpot a little bit as he's got a man at first and one of the best hitters in the National League, one of the best players all around in the NL coming up to hit. Most consecutive years, 35 or more homers and 100 or more RBIs in Major League history. Yeah, Alex Rodriguez and then this guy, Chipper, and then Eddie Matthews. Arenado popped out his first time, popped out foul. Okay.
Nolan with a couple of home runs in the ball game yesterday. Homered in his last official at bat, which put him at 37, which puts him atop in that category in the National League. Yelich, Carpenter, and Trevor Story with 36. Trevor could still catch him today, right? These numbers count.
Yeah. This game 163 on the schedule, so it's like a regular season game. So at the end of the year, these two teams, their stats will say they played 163 games.
This is one of those moments where I'd have used that timeout. After that second fastball up, a 2-0 count, I would have went out there and tried to slow him down a little bit, give him a little bit of that breather.
Check swing, but he went. And the count is 2-1.
Well, I like what the kid did here, that being Walker Buehler on the mound. All right, I can't command a fastball. Let me turn one loose. Let me start out with a two-seam fastball, whether I locate it or not. Maybe the movement can help me get a strike.
Buehler has not given up a hit today. In the air, Machado shading his eyes just onto the grass. And Arenado frustrated as he's now 0 for 2.
Yeah, he got a little aggressive there. The last pitch, that ball running, like you said, Sutton there, just missing that slider. He thought he should handle pretty good. That's usually a ball he hits pretty hard. Just a little baby cutter slider away there from Buehler.
Let me ask you this. You hit at Coors Field. The one thing that I see, and I saw on that swing right there, is a lot of times the Rocky hitters, when they get away from there, their swings get a little bigger. Like they got to do a little bit more to get it out of the ballpark anywhere else than they do at home. Is that true?
Yeah, I didn't have great numbers there, but there's a lot of room, and you got that two-strike approach. I don't know if it's the situation of the game. I mean, they're trying to make something happen, and this guy on the mound's pretty darn impressive. So it's hard to say from up here, but I think that's just one of those he felt like he pulled off just a little bit. This guy's hiding the ball. Walker Buehler's hiding the ball really well today.
Rick Sutcliffe, that was what you just said, a big problem for Trevor Story last year. And that is he has natural lift to his swing, but the launch angle was exceptionally high last season. He said he was letting the ball get too deep and hitting too many soft, high fly balls to right field. So he's getting a little too loopy with that swing, taking that launch angle a little too far. And now he said he's getting the ball out front. And 36 homers later, everything's all right. Left field. And Jack Peterson, sunglasses on. 2 down.
Well, that's exactly what he just did. Trevor Story there, out in front of a ball, just miss it. When you get out in front, you can play with your hands, and you get out front here, you can ride that body weight shift through the ball you see down, that back knee going all the way down, just not long enough to keep that barrel in the zone on that nice breaking ball, but did miss that one by much.
So here's Carr going down. Carlos Gonzalez, a strikeout victim. That's Buehler's only strikeout here today. Remember, he got him a dozen times last time. Good quick move, and safely back in there is Dahl. There are those quick feet. You know, we talked off the air that the motion reminds you of Lincecum a little bit. There was something about how quick his body moved there that just reminded me of Tim Lincecum, that wiry, athletic frame that he's got.
It definitely is the body.
Yeah.
The same body type of Tim Lincecum. Of course, Lincecum was a guy that had one of those longer strides. Buehler's a little bit more upright with a little better downward angle, but both of them special.
And he definitely likes to kind of launch himself at the plate. His pitching coach at Vanderbilt, Scott Brown, said in his opinion, there is no reason to throw a ball slowly. So he is looking to max effort everything. I mean, this is 2018. There goes the runner. Pitch is high. Throw to second. Right on the money. Yasmani Grandal guns down David Dahl. And Walker Buehler getting some help. David Ross liking that.
Yeah, a little fist pump there from Grandal. Puts it right on the bag. Gets dogged easily. Nice job.
Here in LA, 1951, the NL pennant, the shot heard around the world. 5-4, the Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant. The great call by Russ Hodges, one of the most famous calls of all time. Here, Dodgers and tiebreakers. We mentioned 1980, 62, losing to the Giants. 59, they won against the Braves. That 51 game that we mentioned in 1946. 51, of course, the Bobby Thompson home run, one of the most famous home runs in baseball history, I think you'd have to say. I just want one more chance at the bracket. I mean, I haven't even gotten close. Like, not even, like, I'm doing the AL and the AL wildcard in radio, and I've confused myself so much. So I apologize to America. Go look it up on the internet. No score here.
I think America is enjoying as much as Rusty.
Go look it up on the internet. So he just told everybody. I don't know.
I stink. Sorry. German Marquez
going back to work. Muncy Machado Grandal. Three fielders to the right side. Big swing from Max Muncy. David Ross, you talked about this guy at the plate, and he probably would sit in an extended series against a lefty, but you like the quality of the at-bat.
Man, I love this guy's approach. He seems to have a quality at-bat, sees a lot of pitches, and just has a plan. I talked to him a little bit in Arizona when he came up with a big hit for them, and he seems to have a plan of taking away what that pitcher does best and how he game plans against himself. If I was a hitter in today's game, I'd go to our guy, I'd go to our scouting report guy that made up the scouting report and hitting and be like, hey, I'll be back in an hour. Give me how you'd get me out. I think that's what Max Muncy does. How would you best get me out?
Wow, got past Walters, and Muncy will be safe at first. So it'll be a strikeout, and we'll see how they score it.
I'm saying Tony got crossed up here. It ended up being a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
And take a look at this, David. I think he thought he put down changeup, and probably the reason he's going back out there. Watch how he sets up here. Look at how he spreads out like it's going to be something slow. That's the last thing in the world a catcher wants, right? If you go the other way, if you put down a heater and he throws something soft, you got a chance. You have no chance there.
Well, you could see in his setup that he was getting ready to block that pitch. I'm not sure if they're using multiple signs with nobody on because they're paranoid about who might be looking in at what signs or cameras in today's game with technology, but you could definitely tell. You're right, Sut. It's a lot easier to call fastball and adjust to off speed, but if you call off speed and they throw you a heater up, you're not going to get to that pitch. He almost got to it, as athletic as he is.
I mean, you could break your hand there, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Or you miss one that catches the umpire in the face or you in the face. I mean, a lot of bad things can happen. 98 miles an hour, 95 miles an hour coming at you.
Dodgers leadoff man on. Big swing from Machado. Real quick, I want you to say the thing you just were mentioning about hitters utilizing the information.
Well, there's so much information now for pitchers. I don't know why, as a hitter, you wouldn't walk up to the guy who puts together your scouting report with all the numbers and be like, hey, I'm going to go grab a bite to eat. I want you to tell me when I get back how you would get me out so I can actually game plan against that pitcher that day.
Yeah, right. It makes sense.
The hitters should be using the same information that the pitchers are using.
Yeah, I would say that, TrackMan is the device that everybody has access to that talks about or that shows all the data for the pitching. What you just said, I think, is what J.D. Martinez and more guys are doing in terms of utilizing the data as hitters to help them tackle the pitchers.
No doubt. I mean, it's pretty blatant, and even if you're in the at-bat and see a pitcher pitching you a certain way, it might trigger something for you where it's like, wait a minute, okay, my guys went over this for me. I'm hitting you know, $130 on sliders away with 2 strikes, and all of a sudden the team starts throwing me sliders every time with 2 strikes. Maybe my third at bat I sit on that pitch. You know, that's the game within the game that these guys are playing at such a high level.
Man at first. There's no score. We're in the bottom half of inning number 4. The NL West tiebreaker. Jon Sciambi, David Ross, and Rick Sutcliffe. Dodgers in the playoffs for the 6th straight year, trying to make it 6 straight division titles. For the Rockies, they have never won a division title. The previous 4 times, always in via the wild card. And that one is foul. I give you one other note that I found bizarre. Ross, I dropped this on you, but I mean, you grew up in the Dodgers system. So this is 6 straight years in the playoffs for the Dodgers. They had never been more than 2 straight years in the history of the franchise before this run. Digest that. I'm talking about the Brooklyn Dodgers. I'm talking about the Dodgers in the 70s. Had never been more than 2 straight years before this run.
I don't want to take anything away from that, but I mean, there was a period of time when there were 10 teams in your league.
Fair enough.
A lot of things have changed with 5 teams in a division and the wild cards and all the things that lead into that, but in no way am I going to take anything away from what they've done here. And you know, Dave Roberts came over here and made a lot of great things happen. They've gotten a little further each year. He knows they're expected to take that final step this season.
Yeah, got to win that World Series. Haven't done that yet.
I just sitting here watching this at bat with Machado, I mean, this is what Andrew Friedman was thinking when he gave up a lot of his minor league system
to bring this man in. This is the spot we need him. These are the type of pitchers that we need to have somebody that can do some damage off of. And you just, if you're a Dodger fan, you just have a lot of confidence right now.
He's got a lot of slug on the breaking pitches. Be aware of that if he catches one in the zone. Good numbers on off speed in the zone.
Marquez looking in at Walters. German Marquez, a native of Venezuela, just 23 years old. Time called, and Walters will go out to the mound. They'll have a chat. Marquez, a guy who was originally signed by the Rays in 2011 and came over here in January of 2016 to the Rockies. All right, so here we go. Try and follow along. The runner-up of our game will go on the road
To play the Chicago Cubs. That's in the National League Wild Card game. It's presented by Hankook Tire. It's also on ESPN Radio. You tune in to ESPN tomorrow at 8 Eastern. Baseball's next generation chases October's crown. And I still screwed it up. I still couldn't say runner-up. Can we do that later again? No score. We're in inning number 4. Manny Machado with a count 2-2. This is a big pitch right here, fellas. Wow. And Machado swings through that. Big strikeout.
Big fastball. I mean, he pretty much emptied the tank, that being Marquez right there. He came in, he softened up, he elevated, tried to go corner to corner. I mean, that's just when both of these managers, we ask them the first question about their starting pitcher for today. The word both of them used was stuff. Just plus stuff. Not only the high velocity on that heater, but their secondary pitches have continued to get better as the year has progressed.
Well, I think that might have been what that meeting was about. Marquez called him out. Walters probably wanted either breaking ball, where he wants the breaking ball. We talk about those numbers sometimes. Hey, I want you to bounce a breaking ball. Marquez like, no, I want to go heater up. Those are the conversations that you have in the middle of not getting together, getting on the same page, I should say.
Muncy at first. And Grandal swinging through that one. See 3 fielders to the right side. That goes Story, LeMahieu, and Desmond, with Arenado, who's basically a shortstop, playing that left side.
I was going to say, it still seems like they've got 2 defenders on the left side of second base with the range Nolan Arenado.
And I mean, you got LeMahieu, who's won a Gold Glove, and they really like to talk about how good Story is defensively too. Check swing, he went. It's a strike. we go. K-zone 3D. Oh, yeah.
What do you call it? Just got a little bit of that block of cheese?
Got a piece of the block of cheese.
Top corner of the cheese.
The mid-afternoon cheese board. 3D K-zone. Sut doesn't get it. I don't understand. Who doesn't like cheese?
He just thinks it's dumb.
I think you need some cheese
enough
to go with that wine you got going on your bracket.
Oh, man. Breaking ball. Good stop by Walters. And Grandal is gone on strikes. That's 7 for German Marquez.
Well, that's 3 strikeouts this inning with a man on first. This is that back foot breaking ball. After you speed him up with that good stuff, this back foot break ball. Tony Walters again doing a great job. Watch how fast he pounces on this ball. Almost a great dirt ball read. Muncy took a big lead there at first base. Almost got it, but Walters does a great job keeping that in front. That ball just disappeared on Grandal around his back foot.
Yeah, Marquez got to have the confidence to throw any pitch. He gets Grandal there. Great block by Walters behind the plate. 13 swings and misses for German Marquez. And the other thing they talked about, we've shown you the athleticism behind the plate of Walters, but he's able to, they say, stick that pitch. So really good stuff. It's hard to keep your hand right there.
Yeah, we've got 2 of the best receivers for me in the game right now with Grandal and Walters. Both these guys really dominate the baseball and control the baseball when it enters the zone.
High drive, right field. Gonzalez back. Gonzalez at the wall. Gonzalez will watch it go. Bellinger, 2-run homer off a 95-mile-an-hour heater, and the Dodgers out front. It's 2-0.
We talk about how this feels like playoff baseball, and in playoff baseball, the little details matter. Whether it's crossing up on a strike 3 pitch and a guy getting on base that shouldn't be on base. 3 strikeouts coming into this at bat. Cody Bellinger makes him pay on the fastball, jumping on that thing, and does not miss this thing. Sut, he's all over this 2-seam fastball, coming back to the middle of the plate, right down the middle, ready to hit. Good swings at last at bat, and he stands it up knowing he got all of that one.
You know, and I tell you what, kind of surprised that he was in the lineup, because before this game started, he was 1 for 15 off of Marquez, 1 for 16 after he made an out in his first at bat in the second inning. That has to feel really good for not only him, but the fans here.
Cody Bellinger, number 25, and the Dodgers strike first. Puig comes up empty. This is a Dodger team, the only team in the majors that hit more homers than LA, the New York Yankees, and the Yankees set a major league record. Led the NL in home runs and home run frequency, however you want to slice it up. So here in the bottom of the 4th, shocker, a home run factors into a big game in 2018, a Dodger game.
You know, you had to figure if somebody was going to get him, it'd be.
Puig hits it hard. Dahl has it kicked past him. That'll roll to the fence. Puig towards second, and he is fired up.
If somebody was going to take him deep, you had to figure it would be a left-handed hitter. Left-handers hit 100 points higher than right-handers did. And before I got it out, Yasiel Puig says, I've got something for you too. Take a look at the numbers here against Colorado. He hit almost 440 with 5 home runs and 12 RBIs this year. He has feasted off of his pitching. I mean, a nice effort there on the part of Dahl. The ball was just hit so hard, might have knuckled. He made an angle to try to get to the ball with 2 outs. It really doesn't hurt you as much as it would if there were nobody out.
You know, there's no facts behind this. I got no numbers to base it off of, but when I watch the games here late in September, Yasiel Puig's hitting the ball as hard as anybody in the game. The ball is exploding off his bat. You saw right there a typical base hit that David Dahl thought, oh my goodness, this ball's hit so hard it might hang up long enough for me to catch it.
Yasiel Puig's September numbers have been phenomenal. They've intentionally walked Kike Hernandez. But Puig has helped fuel the Dodgers in September. Not so much the batting average, but the slug, the OPS, and 8 homers in the month. Been one of the better guys in the National League. So a 2-run homer, and now the pitcher hits with 2 outs. And that slider, Buehler over the top. Guys, it feels like more sliders than curves today, or am I wrong about that?
No, I totally agree with you. I think a lot of it might have to do with some of the right-handed hitters. You got Turner, Machado, you got Puig, you got Kiki, and you got Buehler. I just think that slider, he feels like, is more effective than the curveball with the guy on the right side. Well, you're exactly right, David. That pass ball, wild pitch, whatever you want to call it. Without that, he would have struck out the side.
Yeah.
No damage done.
Little details in games like this matter so much.
I mean, I think we got to use the word not wild pitch or pass ball, the cross up.
Yeah.
I mean, he crossed them up.
With nobody on, which boggles my mind a little bit, but definitely has made it a game changer here.
And we both know that has to be on the pitcher. You know what you put down, and they've not had a problem all day with the exception of that one pitch. Marquez made the mistake.
25th pitch of the inning.
Don't give catchers too much credit. We're not real smart back there, at least I wasn't.
Well, I remember asking you why.
I might have forgot the time.
I remember why you said you told me you wore the card, the arm, the secret arm card that Walters has on his wrist. You said, because I forget stuff.
A lot.
Check swing. He went too far. It is strikeout number 8 and the 4th in the inning for German Marquez. But Cody Bellinger rings the bell, 2-run homer, his 25th of the year, and the Dodgers are out front as we go to the 5th. Well, we go to inning number 5, and the center fielder Cody Bellinger with the big 2-run homer. Dodgers on top 2-0. National League wild card game will be tomorrow night here on ESPN and ESPN Radio, and National League wild card game will feature the Cubs at home against the loser of this one. AL wild card is all set. It'll be TBS on Wednesday, and that will be the Yankees playing host to the Oakland A's. That should be fun.
How about ESPN on October the 1st? An outstanding game at Wrigley Field.
Oh, yeah.
Now you come to Dodger Stadium for more of the same, and then, oh, yeah, we got the Chiefs versus the Broncos later tonight.
Don't go to work. Just stay home and watch ESPN all day.
Well, somebody to your right likes the Chiefs a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. More than a little bit.
It'll be Gonzalez, then Desmond, and then Walters. Dodgers up 2-0. Buehler hasn't allowed a hit.
57 pitches, guys. Doesn't get much easier than that. I mean, we know the numbers. Historically, the Rockies do most of their damage at home. There's a lot of these guys that their average is somewhere between 50 and 100 points higher when they're in Colorado.
Center field right at Bellinger, shading his eyes even with the sunglasses on.
But you know, the thing for me was they played better on the road this year than they have in a long, long time.
Franchise record, 44 wins on the road. Whoa. How about that, a number? How about that? Wow, I'm kind of proud of myself.
Well, you know, and you picked me up because I was looking for it.
There are papers everywhere.
I got it written down somewhere.
Papers,
here.
where is it?
I got a number right. No, but you're right. I mean, they've played phenomenal on the road. See you there.
Well, and I'll tell you why. I mean, everything changed, and guys, we talked about it before the game with manager Bud Black.
Ouch.
A couple of years ago, before Bud took over, they were 75 and 87. Last year, they flipped it, 87 and 75, and of course, they picked up that second wild card spot. It wasn't about offense. Offensively, everything was the same. It was about pitching and defense and unearned runs. over 80 unearned runs they allowed the year before Bud Black got there.
Oh, top of the back foot.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, that's letting it get deep. That hurts pretty bad. All your weight's on that back foot too. But Sut, I'm with you. I was going to say that because you touched on it earlier today. The signature of this team is pitching and defense, which is, you know, a staple for the Buddy Black's team in the National League. And he's taken that philosophy and brought that to Colorado, and you see the position they're in now in this playoff, setting a franchise record on the road, being able to take their game anywhere.
Downstairs to Desmond to count now 1-1 to Ian. As Walters waits in the on deck circle. 2-0 on a Bellinger 2-run homer. Walker Buehler still hasn't given up a hit. Here's a 1-1. There's that breaking ball.
You know, I thought about Eduardo Perez when Desmond fouled that ball off his back foot. Remember how Eduardo's always said his dad, Tony, wouldn't let him wear a shin guard? Because you only wear a shin guard if you're going to take a bad swing. You hit your back foot, that's not one of your better efforts.
Here comes a 1-2. Off the outside edge. Well, Eduardo tells a great story. He blew his Achilles out rounding second trying for a triple, and he had a shin guard on under his pants. And when they went to examine him, the injury was on that side. No, don't pull it up. I don't want my dad to see the shin guard. Big breaking ball drops in, and a strikeout for Buehler, just his second. And there's 2 away.
I tell you what, we're getting an opportunity to see a couple of really special things. And so far right now, the guy with the upper hand is Walker Buehler. Missed with that paint on the velocity on that outside fastball. All right, you're not going to go for that. I didn't get the call. I'm going to spin it. I'm going to tighten it up. Curveball, slider, 3 different fastballs. And he's got a changeup, but up to this point, he's not needed it. And if I got a no-hitter going into the 5th, I'm not going to lose it on that one.
That's in for a strike. This is a Rockies team that's been hot. They've won 9 of 10. You harken back to 2007. We showed you the Matt Holliday scoring in the wild card tiebreaker, he tried to say. It'll be okay. They won 13 of 14 that year, won the 1-game playoff sweep. They finished going 21 out of 22 before they lost in the World Series.
Well, they came back in that 13th inning in 07 to score 3 runs. That's what they need to do right now, and this crowd's doing everything they can to keep that from happening.
Buehler ready, the 0-2. And right at Muncy. Walker Buehler gets him 1-2-3 on 10 pitches. Dodgers lead 2-0. Tomorrow night, National League wildcard game at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Special second screen StatCast broadcast will air on ESPN2. That game also available on ESPN Radio. It'll be the Cubs playing host to the loser of this one. Gorgeous look at the foothills out beyond the bleachers at Dodger Stadium. Jon Sciambi, David Ross, and Rick Sutcliffe as Jack Peterson, first pitch swinging, fouls one off. And the count 0-1. What, did somebody tweet at you?
Yeah, that's right.
The guys at Inside Edge. You're
Inside
right, David
Edge.
Ross.
You're right.
You're listening to. That's hammered out there towards right center. Blackman on the move, turning and looking. It hits the base of the wall. And Jack Peterson into second, and he's got a double. This team was number 1 in the National League in slugging percentage this year, and Peterson, one of those guys against righties that can put a charge into it.
Well, this is the guy, when he's hot, he's as good as anybody. A little easy swing right there. That's the Jock Peterson that they've come to fall in love with. Why he's at the top of the batting order. Stays on this backdoor breaking ball and does exactly what you want to do. Catch it out in front, throw it in that right center gap. Just missed that ball from being a homer. That's a nice leadoff swing there from Jock Peterson.
So man in scoring position. Ross and Musgrave up and throwing in the bullpen for the Rockies. I mean, German Marquez has been excellent here today. 8 strikeouts. But that cross-up was huge.
That cross-up was huge, and what it led to was even bigger than that. You know, after the home run that gave them a 2-0 lead, there was a double. The intentional pass didn't hurt anything, but then the effort you had to put out to get Walker Buehler out again led to a lot of pitches, and on a hot day like this, who knows what's left in that right arm of Marquez.
Well, and the confidence of the Dodger team just is that much better, along with Walker Buehler's presence on the mound.
Well, and to me, why they're so confident is the platoon that they've got set up. Luke, you mentioned it. Jock Peterson has been wearing out. He got 24 of his 25 home runs against right-handed pitcher. When there's a lefty on the mound, it's Chris Taylor. Muncy, who's hitting third right now, he plays first against right-handed pitching. It's David Freese when there's a left-hander on the mound.
And then all of a sudden you've got Brian Dozier playing second base. Think about those 3 bats on the bench and the type of lineup that Dave Roberts can put out there.
Well, especially when it's regular season rules, you're not going to get a good matchup against him late. He's got an answer on his bench. As Turner is able to spoil that one, 0-2, 98 on that heater.
Well, John, you mentioned it the other day. It's one of those, like, rich man version of the Athletics, right? We almost got a line shift when we go righty-lefty. It makes it really difficult on the opposing team when you're able to bring that kind of power off the bench.
It's a version of what Billy Beane used to talk about, how we buy half players, is what Billy Beane of the A's used to say, and match them up. As Turner swings and misses, Walters picks it up, throws him out. That's 9 strikeouts now for Marquez.
Well, it's something that he's been doing for the last month plus. His ability to put people away, his ability to spin that baseball. You know, Dave Roberts told us before the ball game the key to their success today would be laying off of a lot of those things were down below the strike zone. Really, really difficult to do with this guy on the mound.
9 of the outs registered via the strikeout. This is the Dodger team that leads the majors in highest walk rate. So they'll give you an at-bat where they'll work the count and get on base. Muncy reached on that strikeout and that pass ball in the 4th that eventually put them in place for the 2-run homer. Peterson out there at second. It's the NL West tiebreaker. The winner wins the division. For the Dodgers, it would be their 6th straight crown. And for the Rockies, it would be their first ever division title. And the loser has got to haul back to Chicago and take on the Cubs in a wild card game tomorrow. And we've got a bracket that we'll show you later on. I won't be here for that, but they'll show it to you later on.
Being subtle, explain it if it pops back up.
Oh boy. I'm going to drag
Stat
man Ivan Sokolsky and just put him in the chair and just say, just do it, all right? I can't figure it out.
Partner worked with me Friday, radio Saturday and Sunday. Back at it again today. He's got some miles. We'll give you a pass on that bracket.
I wouldn't miss this with you guys. This is fun, right? Games that matter.
It is amazing. Your energy in the lobby this morning really showed it, too.
Now, wait a second.
10-man walking in like this.
You do the boo better than anybody I've ever seen.
I was so excited. I was so excited about this game coming down this morning. I'm fired up, ready to go, and I see Boog like walking like this.
Just a little sleepy.
Shuffling, right?
And what did I do?
And so I'm walking, I'm like, hey, Rossi. And he's like, woo, yeah, we got the tiebreaker today, baby. And I'm like, oh, man, can we just get some coffee? Come on. Big swing from Muncy, gets a piece. 97. Guys, the one thing I know we've harped on it, but Walters back there. Jeff Bridich and Bud Black talked about the athleticism, the ability to, it's all on display. Like, you get it, right? I mean,
it's over and over again, and I watch the game, feel like I watch the catcher the most, and I just love the way he's handling the game back there, the visits he's taken, the conversations in between innings. It really is on display, whether he's blocking a ball, his setup, how late he sets up. I tell you what's extremely difficult is given the great target he does, and he sets up really late so nobody gives away location, whether it's the base coaches or Jock Peterson out at second. This guy is controlling the game along with his pitcher. They really seem to have a nice rhythm here today.
You know, he starts hitting just a little bit more, maybe just a little bit more for average. I mean, he's going to be in the conversation for a Gold Glove every year if he gets a little bit more playing time.
Reminds me a lot of the last year's Gold Glove winner, Tucker Barnhart, who kind of found his swing a few years in.
Muncy took that pitch down low, and there it is, 3-2. There's a story about Max Muncy battling through some 10-pitch at bat early in the year and striking out and coming back to the dugout, and guys saying to him, hey, don't worry about it, it'll be okay. And Max Muncy saying, I won that at bat.
No doubt. You get to 3-2, especially, you know, you got the 3-hole hitter for the Dodgers here, just took a really nasty breaking ball in the dirt that everybody's been swinging at. Max Muncy gives you a quality at bat every time up.
Only the second 3-ball count for Marquez. Hammered left center field. That one back there, on its way, gone! Max Muncy, that's a good at bat. It's a 2-run homer, and the Dodgers have doubled their lead. It is now 4-0.
Well, this is what it sets up. The more pitches you see, the quality at bats you continue to have throughout the game, whether it's in the first inning or the fifth, you get to pick out the pitches, and it helps you guess when you get into a 3-2 count here late in the game. Max Muncy gets a fastball away when everybody might be looking for breaking ball. You got a base open. It's Marquez's money pitch that he's been striking everybody out with, and he gets a fastball away and hammers it to left field, Sutton.
Luke, you saw him at the home run derby. You're the least surprised of anybody.
He can swing it. 421 feet later, and he said hello to everybody in those bleachers.
You got it right here. Sees enough pitches where he stays on this fastball. This is difficult to do. Stays right behind this baseball. Look at the head down, throws his hands out there and knows he got that one right off the bat.
What a great story. I mean, he got to the big leagues a couple of years ago. He hit 186. Never got back to the big leagues a year ago, Boog. You talked about being released, and now he's hitting third for a team that might win their 6th straight division.
Shadow gets under that. Blackman in. Now there's 2 down. The other part that I will confess that I enjoy about when he comes up, and then when Max Muncy hits the home run, we get to hear the song, the takeoff of the Beastie Boys' Brass Monkey. Max Muncy, that funky Muncy. I love it.
I like that too. Who doesn't like the little Beastie Boys in their life?
But Black out, looks like he's going to double switch, and it looks like the afternoon is over for German Marquez. The NL West tiebreaker right now, the Dodgers using the long ball. It's 4-0 LA. Pitching change, Dodger Stadium. Marquez allowing a couple of homers, and goes 5, 4 runs, 2 earned, and take a look at it today, son.
You know, just a couple mistakes with the fastball. I mean, the slider, the curveball, everything was outstanding. A lot of really well-commanded fastballs, and then he made a mistake right off the bat to Bellinger. Shouldn't have been out there. Should have struck out the side, and that ball was just elevated. Had it been down a little bit, probably wouldn't have left the ballpark, but that's what the Dodgers do. You make a mistake, and they're going to turn it into a souvenir.
Black turning Grandal around to hit from the right side. And Harrison Musgrave, the southpaw, who's born in Morgantown, West Virginia, pitched for the Mountaineers. Look out off the screen.
Thank goodness for that screen.
You're not kidding. And also with that double switch, Chris Iannetta into the game.
Iannetta will now hit in a nice spot, which will be the number 1 spot in the top of the 6th inning. Musgrave's a guy that can give you some length if you need it, a starting pitcher for most of his minor league career. I mean, you know this better than anybody, David Ross. You're going to manage someday soon in the big leagues. A key to every ball game is for a manager to go to the bullpen when he wants to rather than when he needs to.
You're leaving?
I'm not going anywhere. From this fun that we're having? You kidding me?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's ESPN gets rid of me. I'm here. I'm here to stay.
2-2 now.
Well, you're going to be saying no a lot this winter.
Dave Roberts looking on. His buddy Bud Black on the other side. Dodgers up 4-zip. Out to short. Gathered in. Story throws out Yasmani Grandal. And the inning is over. But Max Muncy, his 35th. Dodgers lead 4-zip. Here at Chavez Ravine Dodger Stadium, Walker Buehler. Last 2 times he's faced the Rockies. Today, that's 5 innings, no hits, no runs, 2 walks, couple of strikeouts. He had a career high dozen strikeouts, no earned allowed his last time that he faced him. So far, Buehler
Today, again, hasn't given up a hit.
You know, you kind of go back and look at his numbers. The last bad start for Walker Buehler was back in mid-July.
Yeah, he's been their guy. I mean, we talk so much about Clayton Kershaw, but this has been their most consistent pitcher. And the fact that he's done it down the stretch in the big games and the bigger the spotlight is just even more impressive. Well, Buddy Black told us if this guy stays healthy, we're going to see this guy succeed for a long, long time.
And that's the opposing manager.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's
a big statement.
That takes it to another level. I mean, Dave Roberts talked about the look in Buehler's eye. You could tell he wants this moment.
And again, take it back to just the hardcore numbers for Walker Buehler. He was hoping for 21 outs. He's gotten 15, so he's 6 away. And he's had a very manageable 71 pitches. So that expectation, I think he's in good position to meet it. Here comes a 1-1.
Luke, this is more down your alley than obviously by far mine, but Dave Roberts talking about how he takes the analytics to extreme.
Yeah, he'll watch other pitchers that are similar to him. If it's a Justin Verlander fastball that really simulates his spin rate, if they're similar, he'll watch Justin Verlander's fastball. If it's a guy who has the same type of spin on his breaking ball or his cutter, he'll watch that guy pitch and how he attacks hitters. That's really smart and going about not just a guy that pitches like you, but the exact pitches that you throw.
He is naturally curious. He's done work with the guys out at Driveline in Seattle, Kyle Bodie and company. In fact, when he was at Vanderbilt, Kyle Bodie, who wrote a book, I think it's called Breaking the Kinetic Chain, and Buehler kind of got in his face a little bit, challenging some of the stuff in the book, and he wants to learn. He is a guy who is always hungry for more and more information.
Well, yeah, he's been locked in today, I know, and it's all about the command. And I love when a guy uses his fastball. You see the fastball command he's had. It sets up so many other pitches. The angle at which he throws these balls, the deception, the two-seam work. And then when he does command those pitches, it gets the hitters off balance. See a lot of weak swings there. He's really got this Rocky lineup off balance, and it's a really good offensive lineup that he's facing today. Kudos to Walker Buehler.
He has been so good as they shift on Charlie Blackmon. Charlie 0 for 1 with a walk. So Buehler today has walked 2 and he's hit 1, but hasn't given up a hit. The Dodgers, meanwhile, have gotten A 2-run homer from Bellinger, a 2-run homer from Muncy. Yeah, the Rockies second in the National League in runs per game, being shut out so far. But this guy at the plate, a guy who, former college left-hander, a pitcher at Georgia Tech, Charlie Blackmon, found his way back with the help of former big leaguer Rusty Greer, turned into a position player, and here he is. And there's the first hit of the day for the Rockies. Beats the shift out into right center field. And Chuck is aboard. And a nice hand for the folks here at Dodger Stadium for Walker Buehler. Great effort today for the 24-year-old from Lexington, Kentucky.
You just kind of want to let him take it all in. You know, you think how far he's come in the past year. Big-time prospect, first-round draft pick for the Dodgers last year, brought up in September. They used him out of the bullpen thinking they might use him in the postseason. It didn't work. He really, really struggled that last month. Was not on the postseason roster. He'll be at the top of that list.
Yeah.
The way things are going right now.
So LeMahieu, who's 0 for 2, a fly out and a ground out. Man, 96.
Ball just explodes up there. Watch Yasmani Grandal. When that glove goes up top of that zone, it almost looks like it just explodes into his glove. He's got that late movement with it.
The middle, Kike Hernandez off balance. What a play!
Wow.
Now, Dave Roberts raved about the defense all over the place. They say his reaction time in the outfield is as good as anybody's in the majors. He prefers to play the middle infield.
Well, it looked like this ball was going to get up the middle here, and you see him get this backhand pop to his feet. An athletic play. You're exactly right. Dave Roberts talked about how this guy affects the game in a positive way every time he's on the field, whether it's on the infield like he prefers, or in the outfield, or at the plate. What a great play by Kike Hernandez there up the middle.
That's Javier Baez. I mean, that's that kind of range, that kind of athleticism to get up, and arm strength.
On the ground and handled by Muncy, and that is that. Buehler gets some help from the D, gives up his first hit, but the Dodgers on top. It is 4 hits. Well, in 2018, the New York Yankees set a major league record for most home runs in a big league season. Second in the majors in homers, the LA Dodgers. Here today, Bellinger and Muncy have gone yard each with a guy on base. And our NL West tiebreaker right now belongs to the Dodgers. LA on top. It is 4-0. Back here at Dodger Stadium, Jon Sciambi, David Ross, Rick Sutcliffe, 49-0 and leading by 4 runs at any point. They're the only team in the bigs without a loss.
That surprises me a lot. And I'll be honest with you, we know about the physical problems that Kenley Jansen has had down there. We know about that bridge, how it's kind of rotated. They've added some people. That really surprises me there. But it shows the importance of that play by Kike Hernandez. I mean, you get a couple of guys on, all of a sudden, you know, if I was the Rockies in that spot, let's just get one. Let's just put something on the board, maybe 2, you know, and then we'll get them. We'll have them right where we want them. Buehler said no.
Behind the mound, Arenado puts the squeeze on that. You know, you were mentioning Kike Hernandez. There is a great story, and it's a true story. Kike Hernandez was telling me and us in Arizona as he gets ready to come out on deck, but he's been pulling a gag on one of his newer teammates, Ryan Madsen. Now, Hernandez, when he was in the minor leagues for an entire month with a minor league manager, made him think he didn't speak English. Like, played the joke on him. Well, he's done that to Ryan Madsen since Madsen got to the Dodgers. And the media was in on it. They locker next to each other. And before you think it's a fraud, I asked Madsen about it. He's like, nah, he got me. The whole time, every time he was around, he would speak in fake broken English. Right field. Gonzalez makes the grab. And Madsen and Kike Hernandez said, I'm going to tell him when we clinch. And they clinch, and Kike Hernandez says, Mad Dog, as they call Ryan Mad Dog. Doggy, I speak English, man. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
That's it. I mean, that's amazing.
That's great.
And it is this guy with a special relationship with Chase Utley, and man, is he fun.
I love how you can get the media in on it. It's pretty funny. Get those guys buying into it too. You know you got a good prank going when everybody's in on it except for the guy that's your locker mate. That amazes me. Like, not talking on the phone. Oh, that's a good shirt.
Yeah. Best dad ever.
Love you, Dad.
With Chase Utley over his shoulder. That's the T-shirt he wore. There's my hand in that 90 feet we did with him. Oh my gosh.
Chase feels pretty good about that too, because they could have been calling him Gramps. I mean, that would have been flat out wrong.
We talked about what Dave Roberts said about Kike Hernandez, how he's been the MVP, right? Well, that goes along with the locker room and keeping it loose. His performance on the field as well as in the locker room, being around these guys and keeping them loose and playing jokes like that everybody can laugh at.
That's ripped right field. He's got some thunder in his bat. Cargo can't make the play. That'll take a bounce. I think a fan touched it. Indeed, a fan touched it. Kike will stop at second. He's not a huge guy, but young man from Puerto Rico, he has thunder in that bat. I mean, hits rockets all over the field, and this year has been much better against the righties.
Well, he has, but he's played against the lefties. This is how he's made his living, coming up and being that guy off the bench that platoons for the left-handed pitchers, and he's driving this ball here to right field. You see him connecting this ball, just takes off. Cargo has no chance of getting this ball. Hard line drive, just ground rule double, just gets into the stands there. Might have been a triple if Kike with his speed.
You know what, Boog? A couple of weeks ago, you were talking to him, and you said it on the air on our telecast that the adjustment Kike made was using a heavier bat in batting practice. And he did it because he wanted to slow his swing down. And when you look at things, he got 3 hits in all 3 games in San Francisco. He's hitting 350 in the month of September. It was right about that time that he told you he made that adjustment that things got good.
Right field, Buehler, and it'll get down for a hit. Hernandez to the plate. Cargo's throw. And the Dodgers lead it 5-0. Walker Buehler. Help yourself.
I mean, just do it all. You've been on base. You had a 6-pitch at bat when you struck out to end the 4th. Now you drive in a run. You're throwing a shutout. You just recently lost a no-hitter. And oh yeah, you're 24 years of age. I mean, there's complete players. There's 5-tool position players. This guy has every single ability that you would want out of a pitcher.
Kike Hernandez not having fun at all. By the way, for Walker Buehler, first big league run batted in. Walker Buehler is at first, and they're not holding him on. And George Lombard, their first base coach, walks over and says something to him. And Walker Buehler just staring straight ahead. Didn't even turn and look at George. Rockies have Scott Oberg up in their pen.
Well, you know what it looks like George said to him? Is like, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
I know they're not playing behind you. I know you can run.
Walk it back.
You are not going anywhere. You take off now, and I'm going to lose my job. You stay right here.
He's saying, son, I just saw your gate on that base hit. It's not that good.
Yeah. In the air. Cargo, Blackman. It'll be Charlie Blackman to make the grab. Dodgers add a run. We're headed to inning number 7 here in LA. 5-zip. Tomorrow night, it's the National League Wild Card game on ESPN, 8 Eastern. ESPN Radio as well. The Cubs playing host to the loser of this one. The American League Wild Card Wednesday, 8 Eastern on TBS as the Yankees play host to the Oakland A's. Yeah, a 163 right here. It is the National League West tiebreaker. Congratulations to the Milwaukee Brewers, who won earlier today, and they win the Central. And here's Walker Buehler. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs. I know what you want to do to him, but you know he's ready for it. You know he's ready for it. Got a lefty and a righty out there. Is Baez the righty, Alexander the lefty. So we did a game earlier this year. In Boston that went a little bit long. It was the 3 of us, Jon Sciambi, David Ross, and Rick Sutcliffe. It went to extra innings, and somebody went up to go to the bathroom, and when he came back, we were already on the air. Puts his headset on really quietly, and Sut turns to Rossi and goes, "Well, that's a great point, Boog. What do you think, Rossi?" And he just froze, and I just looked at him like, well. And Rossi just exploded.
And you yelled at us. You called us camels.
You guys are camels.
Well, he had to do that whole promo to start the inning. I'm like, can we speed through this thing? Sut's not here yet.
Yeah.
No.
He's ready for you.
And I got hung up, but I came back with some information that I didn't have. Andrew Friedman, ran into him. Yeah, and while we were in the restroom, I said, "Hey, man, is it true? Jeez. You know, you guys, the Tommy John and everything, you knew about it." Well, we assumed it. We weren't worried about it. We knew he was young. I said, "You brought him up last year. It didn't work out." He goes, "Yeah, but it really did." He said, "There was nothing but upside on it. If we bring him up and we put him in the bullpen and he's good, then we keep him. But if not, we got him acclimated to being in the big leagues. We got the clock started, as they said." He goes, "There was nothing but upside to it."
And that was going to be my point when you made that last time. Good or bad, the experience, you get to learn, and it just drives you that offseason to be that much better, right? Especially his struggles. And now this moment's not too big for him.
And Puig is there to pull it down, and he has handled it about as calmly as possible. Yasiel Puig was turned into one of the better right fielders in the National League defensively. Again, the winner of this one advances to the division series.
Boog, I want to talk about Yasiel just a little bit. And we know that the wild horse, as he's been called, we know that he's gotten in his own way a lot, particularly the last couple of years. But I thought you posed a great question to Dave Roberts about, has he gotten better in the clubhouse? Has he gotten better defensively? Or is it whatever like that? And David went, yes, yes, yes. I mean, we all remember what he did in St. Louis when they all of a sudden started putting it together offensively and as far as the mound was concerned. I mean, he kind of led the way.
Well, he had 5 homers in 2 games.
In the air out towards right center, and again it's Puig on the track. And he's still got a little bit of swag to him, maybe more than a little bit.
Well, I think that's the thing that stands out to me. It used to be a little bit of the unpredictable, a little bit of the craziness. Now it just seems to be fun. Seems to be having more fun. It's controlled. His teammates are on board. His hitting coach is on board. The at-bats are better. I think just the maturity of going through some of the struggles and Dave having some tough conversations with him has put him in the position and the success that he's having now.
Well, Dave sent him down.
Right. It's a big turnaround since then.
Yep.
That's really, if you look back, that was kind of the turning point, I think, to a lot of the success he's having.
Ball 1 to Carlos Gonzalez, who has struck out and flied out. Rockies here today have been 1 hit for 6 2/3. Here's a 1-0.
Well, Dave Roberts told us pregame the hope from Walker Buehler was to get 21 outs. He's at 20.
at 90 pitches.
Is there any chance you ask for more, or it's not really necessary, is it?
I'm going to ask for more, but I'm going to hope that it's in Game 3 of the division series with 6 days of rest.
Fair enough.
One thing I think we've learned about Dave Roberts is when he has a plan, he sticks to it.
You mentioned Andrew Friedman. Andrew Friedman's aware of how intellectually curious this guy is. He said you can get into some unique conversations with Walker Buehler. Yeah, he has been brilliant here today. Dave Roberts said it. He said he is a legit number one. Way high. There were 2 outs, a walk.
Dave Roberts acts like this is going to be it.
So at 93 pitches, he will not get 21 outs, but the 20 he got, heck of a job, is what Kike Hernandez said. He'll turn over the baseball to his manager and listen to this hand. Here in LA, Walker Buehler in this NL West tiebreaker, absolutely brilliant here today. Doing it not just on the mound, but at the plate. An RBI single, his first run batted in of his big league career. Came out for a little curtain call. And the Dodger Stadium faithful approving of his performance. Dodgers on top 5-0. And Ian Desmond.
You know, you hate saying that anybody's the best because all you're going to do is get in trouble, but he's as good a young pitcher as I've seen in the game of baseball this year.
Talking about Walker Buehler.
Yes. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with German Marquez, but Buehler's he's just at another level right now because of his consistent command with that fastball. And David, you know, we talk to scouts all the time, and you know, what's a big league fastball? Well, it's a fastball that's thrown in the strike zone where a good hitter takes a swing and misses. It could be velocity, it could be late movement, or it could be deception. We saw all 3 of those with Walker Buehler today.
When you talked about the different 3 fastballs, whether it's the 4-seam, the 2-seam, or the little cut fastball, when you can pitch with your fastball, the great pitchers that I've caught, they can pitch with their fastball. And in a day and age when everybody's throwing the breaking ball at any time in the count, a guy that's willing to challenge you as a hitter just makes it that much more difficult to get contact with those off-speed pitches, and it makes him that much better.
And there for a strike. Desmond today's been hit by a pitch, and he has struck out.
You know, he's that guy that only hit 230 on the year, so he made a lot of outs. But he can also do a lot of damage when he runs into a mistake.
When Buddy talked about it, Bud Black talking about, hey, he probably got some of the biggest hits of the year, really key, timely hits for this club. One of the leaders in their clubhouse for sure.
That could be right now, too. As far as the Rockies are concerned, this crowd has just been outstanding all afternoon. That's all they've done, really, is stand.
Desmond back in. Dodgers have gotten 2-run homers from Bellinger and Muncy here today. 5-0. It's just incredible where we are in baseball today. We've had 3 pitchers, and my guess is the average fastball today has been north of 97.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or 2 pitchers for the Dodgers, I should say, is the point I was trying to make.
No, but you're right. The outlier's the guy that pitches at 88 to 92 anymore, where when I was coming up, that was the norm. You know, there's no more of that sinker slider guy. I mean, everybody here is throwing in high velocity. It's the guys that can execute and locate the fastball are the ones that are having success.
3-2 now. And Grandal not able to hold on.
How about Baez, too? I mean, still hitting that big number with his fastball. He's been doing it for a while.
Well, I thought that's the point you were going to make when you were talking about the best, and obviously Walker Buehler. But Dave Roberts said this has been the guy that's done the best job for us out of the pen as of late. This is the guy we've gone to in big situations to get us big outs. Been the best guy for them down here, down the stretch.
Don't need a blanket here today. 90 at first pitch, but we get the point. Just outside. And Desmond will take his base. We'll take a look at K-Zone 3D.
To me, you know, and David, we've been in several postseasons, and we know, you know, the crowd sometimes with a young umpire, they can have an impact. You know, the crowd wanted that pitch. It was close, but it was a ball.
Yeah.
You know, and the great umpires are guys who, as they've told me, our ears don't work. You know, it's either a ball or it's either a strike. They're not going to change my opinion on that. And I think Bill Welke's had an outstanding job here all that. He's had an easy job too, because these guys have really been throwing the ball well.
Rick Honeycutt out to the mound, and again, the National League Wild Card game presented by Hankook Tire. Tune in tomorrow night, ESPN 8 Eastern, as the Cubs will host the loser of this game. And again, tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, baseball's next generation, chasing October's crown. Bill Welke says, what's going on out here? What are you guys doing?
Well, it's going to take a long conversation when you're talking about the guy standing at home plate.
38 years young, Matt Holliday getting a chance to hit. They signed him July 29. He wanted to play this year. He was one of those guys that could not find a job. And there are examples of guys that it took forever to sign, whether you're talking about a Mark Reynolds or whomever, but guys who were more bat first type players, and he just couldn't find a job and finally said, yeah, man, I'll go to Grand Junction and swing it a little bit. I'll play in the minors. Signed the 29th of July. They called him up August 23rd. And here he is. Loads of experience. And still with the pop. Popped that one up, and Machado out, makes the call, and makes the catch. And on one pitch, Holliday retired, and Baez gets out of it. Time to stretch here in L.A. Walker Buehler, brilliant performance, 5-zip, Dodgers. We go bottom 7, the NL West tiebreaker, Jon Sciambi, David Ross. Rick Sutcliffe, Dodgers lead 5-0. Walker Buehler, 6 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. Dodgers with a couple of 2-run homers, one by Bellinger, one by Muncy. And the new pitcher will be Scott Oberg, 56th appearance, almost a strikeout an inning. Last 2 months, he's probably been their best reliever. I'll ask you guys this. Is this a little bit of an odd choice? It's 5-0. It would appear the Dodgers are going to win this game. You're going to be in an elimination game tomorrow night in Chicago, pitching maybe your best reliever.
No, this is not an odd moment. This is a guy that needs an inning. If he gets to 25, 30 pitches, he's going to be out of there in this situation. You are obviously thinking a lot about tomorrow night, but when you think about what happened the last couple of days, I mean, Washington, they were both blowouts, so you're just getting him out there for an inning. It's not really about a hole or anything good like that.
And I was going to say the opposite, unless what Sutton touched on. If he needs an inning of work or a batter or two, then yeah, you give him a spot. But this has been their guy, and if I'm managing this team, obviously you're trying to win this game, but you're looking ahead. 5-0 with a strong Dodger bullpen down there. Doesn't look good for the Rockies.
Turner 0 for 3 and lashes that one the other way. That is just pure Justin Turner right there. Just that really under control swing, just guiding it into the opposite field.
We talk about left-handed hitters when they go the other way, it looks so pretty. Well, Justin Turner, when you're a right-handed hitter and go hit a ball like that, ball down away, stay on it, head, whole body language, everything headed to the right side of the field. Just a nice piece of hitting here. Easy line drive to right.
And hey guys, because he does a lot of that,
yeah,
that's the reason that when you put your media guide out over the winter, it says National League champions. Yeah, there's just one guy on the cover of that. That's the guy that continues to get the job done for these guys.
It's still amazing, though, with Turner. He missed basically the first 6 weeks of the season, got hit on the hand by Kendall Graveman of the A's in spring training, but the Mets released him in December of 13. He was out here doing the work with Craig Wallenbach and Robert Van Scoyoc and got into some of that launch angle stuff, but he changed his swing as Muncy rockets one into right field. Turner around second. Gonzalez throw there is too late. And they're at the corners. But to finish on Justin Turner as Muncy comes up with his second hit of the day. I mean, a guy who was a release has turned into a star player.
We will talk about this at some point with Max Muncy in the next couple of days, but Tim Hires, who was the assistant coach, hitting coach here last year, now with Boston, doing a terrific job there, of course, with all of the wins that they've had under Alex Cora. But Tim Hires was telling us that the thing they do over here is they have a hitters meeting before they go out and stretch. It's just a 5-minute meeting, and he talked about how Justin Turner ran that meeting. He talked about not only does he speak in those meetings, but he goes out there and applies it. Tim Hires talked about how contagious it was with everybody, and occasionally, even when there was a young guy, when he knew about somebody on the mound, he'd speak up, and they were all encouraged to do that. You just wonder if that didn't have an impact on Max Muncy.
Another guy who is a release and looks like he's turning into a star.
I was about to say, it sounds like a little bit of the same story that we're seeing with Max Muncy. Justin Turner, when I was catching and still playing, and he was with the Mets, just a pinch hitter off the bench, he would give us the best at-bats on the entire team, and he would be facing the closer each night, You knew this guy was going to put together a professional at-bat. You didn't know he was going to be the star that he's at, but all it took was a little opportunity and some eyes that saw a good player from the Dodger organization.
Machado chasing, and it's 1-2. First and third, and the Dodgers trying to add to a 5-0 lead.
Back to your point, Sut. Tim Hires is now taking that same philosophy over to the Red Sox organization, and he told me all he's trying to do in each hitters meeting is get the players to talk. Once they start talking, JD Martinez, Mookie Betts, it's over. I don't have to do anything. These guys are talking amongst themselves about the approach they're going to take into the at-bat that day.
Back to the mound. A peek at third. They go to second for one. Return to first and a double play.
Wow.
This is just outstanding on the part of Scott Oberg right here. First of all, you got to make the great pitch. He's able to do that to the great hitter in Machado. Now you got to check the runner. Okay, he gets Turner to stop. Now you get the ball to LeMahieu, who takes a look at Turner. Oh, you want to go? I got plenty of time to throw you out. Absolutely nothing that Justin Turner could have done there. If he takes off on contact, instead of thinking to double play, you're going to get him at home. You're not going to give them that run. So Justin Turner was just kind of in no man's land. He's standing there talking with third base coach Chris Woodward did I do anything wrong? In my opinion, no.
That was a great play by the pitcher. Rarely do you see the wherewithal to have that much poise and still execute that. Buddy Black out here now, just like you said, Sut. Get him a little bit of work, not extend him, let him get his pitch count in. Get ready.
Jake McGee coming in. Dodgers lead it 5-0 here in the NL West tiebreaker from Dodger Stadium.
Fans, this is a little something we call promo 2. is the 2018 National League Wild Card, and it comes your way 8 Eastern, and tomorrow night the Cubs will host the loser of this one. A reminder, special second screen StatCast broadcast will air on ESPN2. That game's also available on ESPN Radio. So again, tomorrow night, NL Wild Card game. Cubs right now, it looks like it'll be Cubs and the Rockies. Jake McGee on here, on for the 61st time, but tomorrow night, Wrigley Field, it'll be Matt Vasgersian, Jessica Mendoza, Alex Rodriguez, Buster Olney on the call of that one. Look forward to that. On the radio, it'll be Dan Schulman and my buddy Chris Singleton, my close personal friend. Pitch inside to Yasmani Grandal. Grandal 0 for 3 in this one. Dodgers have used a couple of homers. Of course, led the National League in homers. Also want to say on ESPN2, the StatCast version will be led by Jason Benetti, Eduardo Perez, and Mike Petriello. We'll check that out. Mike Petriello does such a good job. MLB.com, great Twitter follow. That's right, Mike, I'm giving you the love. 3-0, McGee falls behind. Dodgers leading it 5-0. We're in the last of the 7th. The day belonging, at least in part, to Walker Buehler. 6 2/3 innings, a shutout ball. McGee, and that's in for a strike.
I'll tell you what, David, I think of you here as I look at the numbers for Yasmani. We know that he's much better from the left side. We also know that on the year, he's 5 for 45, barely over 100 against the Rockies. He's 1 for 11 against Marquez. But you know what? As you look down here and you look at the scoreboard, they haven't scored, that being the opponents. You sleep real good after nights like this, don't you?
Yeah, well, you know, you gotta know your strengths, but Yasmani's much better hitter than I was. We talked to Dave Roberts about him from the right side, and the reason why he still continues to catch is there's some power in there from the right side, and he'll end up taking his walks. He will work in at bat, as you see here, get to a 3-2 count from his weaker side off a really tough pitcher, McGee, willing to take his walks.
Fouled that one off of Iannetta. Look out.
We know how important the game calling aspect is, and he's the best in baseball at receiving the bottom of the zone. His framing numbers are off the chart at the bottom of the zone. Really, really strong in that area. And his game calling, obviously, and his experience.
Remember, he had a tough finish last year. They played 15 postseason games, and Austin Barnes supplanted him in the playoffs, started 13 of their 15 playoff games. And they came back to spring training. Nope, Yasmani's the starter, and that framing has so much to do with it. Swings through that one, and McGee able to get the strikeout. Inning over. We're on to the 8th here in LA. Rockies down to their final 6 outs. Dodgers lead 5-0. Well, fans, Sports Center tonight, Scott Van Pelt after Monday Night Football. They'll go inside. Patrick Mahomes start with the Chiefs, recap the tiebreaker games, and look ahead to the wild card. The worst beats of the weekend as well. I love that. My man Stanford Steve. It's all coming up. Sports Center at 11:15 Eastern Time. That's following Monday Night Football. Brewers won earlier today. They win the Central. The Cubs will host the wild card. They'll host the loser of this game. Right now it looks like it'll be the Rockies. It looks like it'll be 6 straight division titles for the Dodgers. Back here in LA, as Baez fires high. Jon Sciambi, David Ross, and Rick Sutcliffe. Thanks so much for joining us here for this one. Dodgers 6 straight division titles, what they're aiming for. Previous 5 in a row, though, they still don't have a World Series over that stretch, or I should say World Series win. As that one lined to third, and Iannetta retired, one away.
You know, looking back at it too, the last 5 division titles they handled pretty easily. This one's going to be as tough as any they've ever had to go through if they're able to get it. Dave Roberts saying, Mr. Baez, you did everything that I needed you to do. We got some guys down there that also need a little work at holding a lead.
Scott Alexander, the lefty, is coming on. Baez replaced by the lefty. Now back here in LA, still to come, 8 Eastern, Monday Night Football out from Denver, the Chiefs and the Broncos. As the shadows start to cut across the field here at Chavez Ravine, the sinker balling specialist. Lefty Scott Alexander takes over. And the Dodgers leading 5-0, just joining us. Walker Buehler, 6 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. And 2-run homers from Muncy, or from Bellinger and then Muncy. And there are the numbers on Alexander.
Yeah, you can see that he's kind of a specialist. He's going to be brought in a lot of times just to face a left-handed hitter. I would imagine with Blackman here, LeMahieu after that, and then another left-hander, David Dahl, I would imagine he'd probably be here for the next 3 hitters at least.
Yeah, there's a strike to Blackman, clips the bottom portion of that strike zone.
Blackman on base a couple of times today, trying to set that table for the guys behind him.
And Rick Sutcliffe, as a pitcher, never your concern, but David Ross, we're moving towards the time of day where it's not so fun to be a hitter here at Dodger Stadium.
Well, we both played here, and those 4 o'clock shadows, and it's creeping up on 4 now, is extremely difficult with the backdrop and how bright that is. And then that sun just kind of gets that shadow at the top of the stadium over about halfway, probably another half inning, about halfway between home plate and the pitcher's mound, makes it extremely difficult really to pick up spin. So you end up kind of just seeing fastball out of hand. You'll see a lot more breaking pitches from experienced pitchers.
I'm not going to lie, not only here, but a lot more at Wrigley Field than here. Those 120 starts, back in the day when pitchers got into the 8th and 9th inning, I would take my time getting to the mound, knowing where those shadows are out right now, because when they're at their best is when the shadows are about halfway between home and the pitcher's mound. So the longer as a pitcher you can wait right now, the more difficult, as you said, it's all about recognizing spin. You just hope to get a heater that doesn't move.
Turner, Hernandez, Muncy on the right side of the infield. And that one up and in, buzzing the tower. And so now it's filled up on Charlie Blackman, who was grounded out, walked, and singled. They got 1 hit. He's got it. Beats the shift. That'll go the other way. Peterson there to pick it up. And Blackman with 2 hits. And the Rockies with 2 hits.
And that's how you got to face a sinker baller. You gotta let the ball get deep and try to get inside the baseball. If you try to get around or hit that sinker too hard and pull it, you're liable to just roll over just like they want you to. Charlie stays inside that ball really well, beats the shift down the left side.
Kenta Maeda coming in. So Dave Roberts going to the pen again. Dodgers still lead. Back here at Dodger Stadium, the shadows cutting across the field. Kenta Maeda will take over. So the one-time starter now out of the pen. 39th appearance, 3.83 the ERA. Way better than a strikeout an inning this year, and a guy who was a weapon for them out of the pen in the postseason last year.
Well, the big key is his ability to throw strikes with 3 different pitches. He's got the fastball that's still in the 90s. He's got the split that'll go down and away from a left-handed hitter, and the slider that'll run away from the right-hander.
When they signed Kenta Maeda from Japan, the slider was the 1+ pitch, was the pitch that they felt like played well above average. I mean, again, he's been a useful pitcher for him. Bounced foul of third and pass to Cole.
For me, that slider is the pitch. When it becomes that time to make a big pitch, I feel like that's the one he's going to. And there was a time there for a while where that was the pitch he would almost throw for a strike better than his fastball. He's always had great feel for that slider. Could pitch backwards with it. Always had the plus fastball, and he was dominant when he could locate that fastball. But that slider for me has always been the pitch that has stood out that he has the most confidence in.
Mad at first, one out, 5-0 Dodgers.
I think Maeda is just the opposite of Walker Buehler. I think Walker Buehler uses his fastball to set up the secondary pitches. I think, to your point, David, I think Maeda uses that slider to get away with some mistake fastballs.
See?
He's listening to you, David.
Yeah. Working together. Boom.
Yeah. Oh, I would have loved to bounce some breaking balls off your neck.
Just feel that love in the booth. 0-2 down. And Grandal able to spear that one. All right, let me ask this. I touched on, as the shadows creep across, it's harder to hit. Is it harder to catch?
No, I never had to. Well, you kind of know what's coming. You got a different angle. We're so
you do know
down.
what's coming. You're calling
right.
it.
That's what I mean. It's a little easier than the hitter. But I mean, we have a different angle. We're so low. We're looking up at the ball. It's a little bit easier. It's not as great, but definitely not anywhere close to the hitter. And I'll tell you kind of a nasty story. Kaz Ishii, we were here and got a line drive. The outfielder Brian Hunter from Astros days got a line drive, and it was so bad. The shadow was a 4 o'clock game. Got a line drive back, hit him right in the head. Never even saw it. The ball hit him so hard off the forehead, hit the net in the air.
Oh wow,
man, scary.
I remember him, the lefty.
Yeah, lefty. Yep. Yeah. Great breaking ball. Great breaking ball. But yeah, talking about some nasty stuff from those shadows where you can't see.
Here's a look right here. High chopper, Turner, got to go. Out at first. Wow, that's a good play. Unloaded in a hurry and just able to get LeMahieu. And I don't know whether DJ LeMahieu thinks he was out or not.
It looked like he got him, but a great play here by Turner. Didn't panic. It's all about the hands. Watch how quick he transfers that ball and gets it on a line there to Max Muncy. I think they're going to review this. Let's see. I think he's out.
Call on the field is under review.
Great play, as you said there, by Turner.
Pana. Yeah, there we go.
I was just about to say. Oh. Just
I'm
got
going
it.
out. Sutton, what do you got?
Out.
Okay.
I didn't think it was that close, really. I mean, you know that LeMahieu's going to do everything he can to possibly get it reversed, at least take a look at it, but I thought the play that we reviewed earlier, I thought it might have been reversed. I could see where it's one of those that would have stayed whichever way you called it to begin with, but he's out.
Out. Brian Gorman, our crew chief. See the Rockies 11th in the majors, their review percentage. Dodgers 19th. Royals the best league average, 51%. Nice throwing that up there every once in a while. You wonder what's good, what's not good.
Tells you how
about
good
half.
umpires are, right?
Yeah.
Really. I mean, when you boil it down, those are the really toughest plays to call, and we get to slow it down in slow motion and see it from every angle.
Really nice play by Justin Turner, by the way.
Yeah.
Here's Dahl now. And a swing and a miss from the lefty.
I think the thing that I'll take away from today as the Dodgers look to go on into the division series is, I mean, this team is really improved defensively. I mean, Machado there, Kiki there. You just saw the play from Turner. I'm okay with the outfield. Bellinger out there covers a lot of ground. Peterson used to be a center fielder. I mean, there's only 2 teams defensively worse than the Dodgers on the year, but that's not the team you're seeing out there this afternoon.
I think this Dodger team, they're the only team in Major League Baseball with a better winning or with a winning record against teams over 500. Speaks to their game. They step it up when it matters the most. Against the best teams, they play their best baseball.
Dodgers leading here 5-0. They took 12 of the 19 against the Rockies during the year. They rise to their feet. Kenta Maeda ahead of Dahl. 1-2. Blackman out there at second. He's got their only 2 hits today. You see Grandal. 47,816, the announced paid crowd. There are those shadows again. Maeda looking in. You see him giving the signs off the equipment as well as between his legs. Got him to chase. No, he fouled it off. Well, what's going on there? Obviously, there's a guy at second, I understand. But is one a decoy?
Yeah, well, one could be like touches and saying, okay, we're going to set it up, it's going to be second sign. Or the more signs you're able to give, the more they don't know what it may mean. So I may start with a shin guard, which is a hot sign, and maybe my touches are the sign I'm giving, and the numbers are decoys, or maybe the touches are decoys and the numbers are hot, or maybe both. One sets up the other. There's no telling now. With all the technology, you got to mix it up a lot.
Well, with you, everything's hot, buddy.
That's right.
It could be where his glove is right now, dictates what the pitch is, and all that other stuff means nothing.
Right. We used to do, as you see the shot here, we used to do the fastball would be the shin guards and the shoulders pads would be the fastball location, and then we would walk. The breaking ball would be the mass, the slider would be the chest, and where his hand is now would be the changeup.
Those fingers are hard to see.
Yeah, that's for sure. Maeda 2-2. Got him to swing and miss. Kenta Maeda strikes out Dahl. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th. Dodgers 5, Rockies nothing. The NL West tiebreaker here in LA. Now the Dodgers leading 5-0, 3 outs away from moving on to a division series. Home runs today from Bellinger and Muncy. Walker Buehler, sensational on the mound. Our NL West tiebreaker coming to you from Dodger Stadium, the Dodgers and the Rockies. And here is Cody Bellinger. He has settled into that center field spot, giving them solid enough defense for sure. Says that one foul the first. Gobbled up by
Ian Desmond. As the organist plays the final countdown by Europe. 1-0 me.
Nice job, Boog. 1-0 you. You were 0 for before the day started.
Hey. Play nice. Bellinger with that 2-run homer. The 0-1. Right through there for a strike. This is a Dodger team 3rd in the league in on base, and a really good offense that they can match up left and right in different lineups. Machado will be out there every day. You can be darn sure of that. But David Freese maybe against a lefty in a series. Kike Hernandez can play both. How does Kemp fit in? What about Chris Taylor? Brian Dozier possibly against a lefty. A lot of options for Dave Roberts, and figuring out their 25-man, I'm sure, will be interesting as well.
There's so much depth on this team. Maybe one of the most star-studded depth team we've ever seen. I mean, you look over there, there's days where they've got almost 100 home runs on the bench. And then you got prospects like Tolles and these guys that come off and just continue to give you good at-bats.
Alex Verdugo.
I mean, they've got youth that is coming along.
I can't believe the Baltimore Orioles let him remain a Los Angeles Dodger. When you're trading Manny Machado, you should be able to get anything you want. And Verdugo would have been at the top of my list.
3-2 now with Bellinger at the plate. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers, 0-2-0 for the Rockies. Desmond gloves to his left. He'll take it himself. Bellinger is out. And we're going away. Yasiel Puig. Right now, it looks like the NL wildcard game on ESPN tomorrow night will feature the Rockies and the Cubs at Wrigley Field. 8 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Radio and ESPN2 for a special StatCast presentation.
I think we're in line for a great postseason. There's some great teams, American League and National League, that I'm excited to watch go head-to-head.
Another great postseason again, huh? You know more about 16 than any of us. 7-game series last year. Houston Astros, of course, taking these Los Angeles Dodgers.
Bounce to third. Arenado backs up and throws him out. And speaking of the Astros, last year they beat the Yankees in the LCS. As I try and tie it together, the AL wild card will feature the Yankees and the A's. And that Oakland team's really good.
They can flat out hit, man. The approaches that they consistently have from top to bottom in that lineup. I'll bet Severino is on the bump for Aaron Boone tomorrow. Just a guess.
Pitching change. Sut, you want to take it to break?
Never again.
We'll be right back. Is up. They're getting ready in the Dodger clubhouse. National League Western Division champs. That's what those signs say. For the 6th straight year, it would be. And new pitcher for Bud Black, whose team, if it stays this way, will head to Chicago, take on the Cubs tomorrow. DJ Johnson on here.
Just kind of thinking about this Dodger season and how offensively it's kind of been feast or famine.
I'm sorry, what was that? All of a sudden the Phantom of the Opera's here. Feast or
famine.
Yeah.
That didn't come out right, did it?
No.
Oh, man. That's it.
If you let the brackets thing go the first 6 times. Third,
and he saves us.
Arenado.
He saves us.
4, 5, 6 coming up.
I don't know that I was saved.
Rockies.
I feel like the bus ran over me.
Well, back here, the Rockies down to their final 3 outs. Dodgers lead 5-zip. If you're wondering, Rockies and Cubs season series even at 3 games apiece. Each team scored 33 runs. I think here's the most important stat or piece of information that I could give you, though. All 6 games were played by the first week of May. I'm going irrelevant.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going cold.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, whatever it was, it was. Here's Kenley Jansen. And Arenado puts a charge into that one. Look out. Deep into the bleachers. And the shutout is over. Nolan Arenado, his 38th. And the Rockies on the board.
If this does anything, it gives them a little bit of confidence going into tomorrow. Jumping on Kenley Jansen, trying to keep him sharp, get him some rest. Puts him a grand slam down, but getting shut out and not a whole lot of hits going into tomorrow. This is something that you can build off of. Nolan Arenado feeling good, getting out in front right there. That's a typical Nolan Arenado swing, but that's a positive for the Rockies going into Chicago.
So on one pitch, And now it's Trevor Story. Foul back our way. Story this season, 36 homers, an amazing year, and a dramatic decrease in the K rate, 34.4% to 25.8%. I mean, that's a huge change. She's one of the more improved players in the league.
And I really think the biggest part of that change come in a situation like this against right-handed pitching. A year ago, when he struggled with an average under 240, right-handed pitching, he hit 216, over 60 points higher this year, and again, 150 games played.
Jansen ahead 0-2. Dodgers up 5-1. It has not been a standard Kenley Jansen year. Everybody would take this. 80 punch out, 70 2/3, 38 out of 42, 2.93 ERA. But you expect superhuman from him.
You really do. This guy's been so dominant for so long. See a little bit of a guy not making it look so easy as he has for so long. You start to panic a little bit. But his numbers and the bullpen's numbers in September kind of go hand in hand. He's had a really good September, and so has that bullpen. They kind of go together. His success has been the same success as that bullpen.
Remember, he's had that heart issue. For the record, I asked Dave Roberts if this game had been in Denver, would Kenley Jansen have come with you? And Dave Roberts' response was, he said he would have. And that's really all you can go by in that spot.
He gets a pass for me. You know, he had the rough April, he had a rough month of August ERA-wise, but
you know, it looked like there for a while they were going to shut him down for the year.
Well, I mean, since Rivera shut it down, I think you'd say he and Kimbrel have the belt, right? If we're talking about the closer belt,
yeah,
he and Kimbrel share it. Best closer in the game. A former catcher. Pretty amazing. 2-2 now. And Story delivering a good at bat right here and making Kenley Jansen work.
That command is not close to what we've seen it with Kenley Jansen. Grandal wanted that cut fastball on the inside part of the plate. That was closer to the outside corner than where they were first looking.
When I've noticed a little bit more of a, that cutter used to be a little bit later and a little bit sharper. It just doesn't seem to have that bite that it used to have.
That one cuts outside. And now the count is filled up 3-2, and upcoming pitch number 9 of the at-bat. Cargo waiting on deck.
you know who the most nervous guys in the ballpark are right now? The clubhouse guys.
Yeah.
On the Dodgers side. They've got the champagne wheeled over there. It's been on ice for a couple of innings.
Out there towards right center. That's well struck. That's on its way. Back-to-back homers. And what an at-bat for Trevor Story. His 37th. And on the 9th pitch, he takes him deep the opposite way. And it's 5-2.
You know, you just think about last year for Trevor Story. 24 homers and 82 RBIs. He was 24 years of age. You'll take that with some solid defense at shortstop. And those numbers really, really went up this year as a 25-year-old. Opposite field power there. Who needs Coors Field? I can leave anywhere.
Well, they had started that meeting
on the mound, and Rick Honeycutt decided that he wanted to be a part of it. His Story deposits that one to the right center field bleachers.
The only question I would have if I were Rick Honeycutt right here, how are you feeling? Because I'm not seeing that. I'm kind of seeing out of Kenley Jansen that walk you saw this morning with Boog. You know, I'm not seeing that little energy like, hey, we got a chance to finish this.
Well, and we've seen over the years the energy that sometimes the closers need in a closer game. 5-0 here, trying to get some work. The Colorado Rockies are like, no, hey, we're in this thing. I know it seems like it's over, but we're going to continue to have professional at-bats and two powerful MVP-type seasons. Guys going left and right, home runs. Get out there, pump him up a little bit, Rick Honeycutt.
Goes Turner, Hernandez, Bellinger on the right side. This is for Bellinger. He'll take it himself. And on one pitch, Carlos Gonzalez is out. Coming up next, it is Monday Night Countdown, followed by Chiefs Broncos. And tomorrow night, National League wild card game. Looks like it'll be these Rockies and the Chicago Cubs from Wrigley Field.
We got word from the Rockies clubhouse that if it were to be them that played in the game tomorrow night, Antonio Senzatella would be the guy. He started out the year in the bullpen. When Chad Bettis went down, he got into the rotation. And Boog, when we left Chicago last Friday, it was John Lester that was in line to pitch that wild card game tomorrow night. So it sounds like another really good one. Well, we know what the message was from Rick Honeycutt. Hey, you got no command of that cutter. Let's forget about that. Let's just throw it as hard as you can and see what happens.
Showed you Alex Wood out there at bullpen coach Mark Pryor. So the lefty getting loose. Desmond 0 for 1, been hit by a pitch and walked. Jansen ahead 0-2. Shadows continue to cut across the infield as the Rockies try and keep this game alive. Again, it's not an elimination game. It's just the loser will play in an elimination game tomorrow night in Chicago. Walker Buehler, the 24-year-old from Kentucky, phenomenal here today. Dave Roberts said he wanted 21 outs. He got 20 from him. No runs, 1 hit. Well done. And there he is, Kike Hernandez, buddy, Ryan Madsen. Up, get loose.
He was a premier closer for at one time.
What a changeup he had. A guy who could throw 98 and a nasty changeup. Jansen picks out a sign. Here's a 2-2 to Desmond. Got him. And the Dodgers are 1 out away. Looks like it'll be a pinch hitter, Gerardo Parra. Parra, the left-hand hitter. $47,816. The paid crowd. Not a full house here today. The local start a little after 1 o'clock here in L.A. Pitch to Parra. And strike one. Walker Buehler outstanding. Nolan Arenado's team got behind when Bellinger hit the 2-run homer, and that was kind of that. Walker Buehler, by the way, last dozen starts, 13 earned runs allowed. Strike two. That computes to a 1.55 ERA in his last 12 starts.
That's dominant when you need it the most.
The Dodgers 1 strike away. The pitch.
I think that right there was the best pitch Kenley Jansen's thrown this inning.
They seem sharper since that visit, with the game getting a little bit closer, and he just seems a little more movement, a little more energy coming from his body language.
5-2 Dodgers. We're in the ninth. Jon Sciambi, David Ross, and Rick Sutcliffe here in L.A. Jansen, here's the 0-2. Got him! And for the 6th straight year, the West belongs to the Dodgers. 5-2 the final. Walker Buehler, one of the heroes here today. And Charlie Blackmon and company will head to Chicago and take on the Cubs in a wild card. And the celebration is on here at Dodger Stadium.
Well, one thing we've known for a long time, the Los Angeles Dodgers have had a history of big game starting pitchers. I think we saw another name that you can add to that list probably for the next 7 or 8 years. Walker Buehler.
You're exactly right. He's been fun to watch pitch and been their most consistent guy here down the stretch, but that offense for the Dodgers never disappoints. I mean, they win when they hit homers. 2 big ones today, one from Max Muncy, one from Cody Bellinger, get things started. That's what they do, Boog.
I mean, again, guys, look, you can talk all you want about small ball, control the strike zone, hit the mistakes into the seats. That's the way teams are winning in the postseason. That's the way teams are winning in the regular season, and it's been that way for a little while now.
And from a pitcher standpoint, try to strike those guys out so they don't make contact and hit homers. I mean, it's not a difficult formula. You see all the great teams that are going to the postseason have that formula. They hit home runs, they pitch, they strike guys out, and also they play great defense.
Well, and kind of ironic that it was a mistake on the part of the Rockies that led to those first 2 runs. It was a cross-up between the catcher, Tony Walters, and German Marquez. It was strike 3. It was a swing and a miss, but all of a sudden you got a runner on first base. A couple of hitters later, a mistake, a center cut fastball to Bellinger. He leaves the park again. That's all that Walker Buehler would need to take him to victory lane.
They love L.A. indeed. Fellas, thanks for a great season. Appreciate it.
I've really enjoyed it, fellas.
Back at you, buddy.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Rockies and the Dodgers here in our NL West tiebreaker, and the Western Division belongs to the L.A. Dodgers. Final here, 5-2 from Dodger Stadium. Up next, it is Monday Night Countdown for Rick Sutcliffe, David Ross, and Jon Sciambi. Thanks so much for joining us here in L.A. as the Dodgers win it. Cody Bellinger got things started, a towering home run deep into the stands in right center. Max Muncy added on, and Walker Buehler sensational. Again, our final, the Dodgers win the West, 5-2 the final. For Sut Rossi, I'm Jon Sciambi. Thanks for joining us. See you later from LA.